This was the problem at Connect 2. Everybody was like all legs. We didn't look good. We need more like face and less leg.
I know.
No, we look ridiculous. We just look our feet are like, hello, these are my feet on camera.
It's Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, so you know what that means. It's time for another episode of #EventIcons.
Presented by Endless Events.
The show where you get to ask the icons of the events industry anything. Use the question panel on the webinar to submit your questions. Or you can hop on Twitter. Submit your questions with #EventIcons.
We'll be answering your questions live during the entire show.
Before we get started, the more people we have watching, the better conversation we can have. So please help share #EventIcons on Twitter and Facebook.
Just tell your friends to watch at www.event-icons.com.
Now, without any further delay, this is #EventIcons.
Well, welcome to EventIcons live from IMEX 18. We're so excited to be here. I am Tahira Endine. With me, I have Brant Kruger, the voice, Alex Plaxon, our social media guru, and Chance Thompson from Salt Palace in Salt Lake City. Welcome, Chance. Now, one of the first things we're going to do today is actually get Chance to do a little modeling for us.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we were recently in Salt Lake City. There was some banners left over, and Chance had his outfit made out of those banners. Tell us more.
So we have a community partner that does a lot of upcycling for us for textiles. And so we took banners from Connect Marketplace and we turned them into clothing. They had their CSR lounge was built around the Sustainable Development Goals, which is a United Nations initiative for 2030 metrics that we need to reach to stem climate change and other kind of poverty issues and things too. And so I am wearing a jacket with Sustainable Development Goals written on the front, Salt Palace logo, and then I've got some SDGs on the back side of my pants here as well. So yeah, it's a fun way to showcase sustainability on a fashion side.
And I know Mariella has a beautiful dress from
Yes, Mariella McElraith from the Events Industry Council is also wearing a dress. Hers is much more elegant.
More elegant and also in the EIC colors, which I appreciated. I thought that was very nice work on.
And I've got the sustainability colors for the EIC with the green and the orange, so we're well complemented. Mine's a little louder, though.
So I think everyone wants to know, are they comfortable?
The vest is good. The pants they don't breathe a lot and they're kind of itchy. So yes, but it's not as bad as you'd think. I was unsure. I put them on once. I was like, I don't know, but it's going well. We're good. We're good.
So now we all know, anybody who knows me at all knows that IMEX is my favorite show. I love it here. I'm happy, happy, happy. So what do you guys think, Brant? How are you feeling about IMEX this year?
This is also one of my favorite shows every year, and I think this is probably the 5th or 6th time.
It's my 8th.
There's only been like 8. So
I know.
Nice. Very good. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those shows that just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. They keep trying new things, experimenting. They've got, it can be really hard to do like education sessions on the show floor, so they've got these like inflatable huts that you can go into and do your education sessions so everybody can hear.
They're good actually because they're quiet, right? So I really like those.
So it helps
igloos.
Without having to use, breakout rooms down the hall and down the way. So pretty awesome, pretty awesome.
How about you, Alex?
I love it. And I think one thing also that's really cool is with more space, I've found more white space on the show floor. There's a lot of places where you can meet one-on-one with people. They had these Zen spaces, which are like these Japanese hotel style little meeting rooms that have power, and it's amazing.
There's some just like they're right over there.
They're right over there, and the media cafe.
Too, so.
Yeah, and it's just really incredible because I think some of the best networking happens on the show floor, just in the hallways.
I hug my way through.
Absolutely. You can't walk through the show floor and not stop and say hi to someone you know.
No, it's difficult for the people that I'm with who don't know everybody. They're just like, oh, here we go again. But it's all good. They've indulged me.
But this is my third, and my first IMEX, I was a student. I was here for the Future Leaders Forum. So it's really cool to be back, and I love the space that we have here.
Yes.
I'm going to jump out because we have some more guests that are coming in, but I want to remind everybody who's joining us live, please join us in the chat roll. You can ask your questions there. As you see, people come in and come out, you want to ask them questions, you can join us on event-icons.com and hit the chat roll there. But I'm going to jump out and let one of our next guests come in.
Hello, Michael Doan.
Hello, Tajira and Alex and Chance. It's our first time meeting.
Yes.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah,
So Michael, tell us where
that
you're.
is awesome.
Right? Isn't
I
it?
normally don't look like this. I promise.
So I know where you're from, but tell our audience where you're from.
Where I'm from, well,
Where do you?
What do you
Baltimore
do?
area.
Yes.
I work for a company called Cadmium CD, so we do event management software. We do apps, speaker management, all kinds of different things. So, and I'm head of marketing for that company. I manage all our marketing activities. We have a small team. It's me, a brand manager, and we have a guy who runs our website and social media as well. So.
Now, how many IMEXs have you been to?
This is my first IMEX. Our company has been here the past few
yes,
years, but
yes.
this is my first, yeah.
Okay. Now, Chance, what about you? How many times have you been to IMEX?
I think it's my third as well.
Okay.
I believe. I think last year was my first, and then Frankfurt, and here. Yeah.
I'm definitely the industry veteran. That's just fun. I love it.
Now, Mike, you're actually speaking at IMEX too, correct?
So yeah, I had a presentation yesterday. It was at the end of the day. I was really worried no one was going to show up and people were going to be exhausted, but I actually had more people than I expected. So I had a worksheet. I had everyone do an activity, which bombed because everyone was tired at that point. But I had 50 worksheets to give away, and I gave them all away, and then there was still about 10 people in the session standing. And
So what did you talk about?
so I talked about event marketing
Okay.
and how you can use technology like Cadmium CDs to market your events.
Very
Just
cool.
basically trying to give them ideas, because most people are already using a platform. If not ours, they're using something else. And so I was just trying to give everyone some ideas on how to leverage the tools that they already have to provide benefit to all their stakeholders, to their attendees, their speakers, and their exhibitors.
So what would you say if you could give our audience one tip for marketing their event? What's like your number one tip?
Stop trying to trick people. You know, like a lot of people. So one of the examples I gave was about push notifications, and everyone tends to do the come have lunch in the expo hall, and while you're here, visit the exhibitors. And it's, you know, one of those things that if that's your call to action to come have lunch, then everyone's going to run through the exhibition hall like this, blinders on, head down. They're not going to want to talk to your exhibitors. They're going to want to go have lunch and then get out of there as quickly as possible. Whereas if you did something like, hey, come to the expo hall, it's now open, come see what technologies are changing the industry. Something like that. It's just about messaging. It's about positioning the call to action to be something that's useful. Yeah, people are going to want to engage with your exhibitors if you position your exhibitors as a source of knowledge and something that's useful to your attendees.
Very cool.
I'm going to jump out myself and open up the mic for the next person. So unless you
Well,
have more
Chance,
questions,
like, thank
yes.
you so much for stopping by. I
Yeah.
actually have one question for you before you go.
Sure. Yeah,
So now we know that IMEX has also been quite sustainable, which is an
Mhm.
important thing to you. So just tell us a couple of things you've noticed about the show that has
Sure.
impressed
Yeah.
you.
IMEX is, I mean, they're one of our more sustainable shows in the industry. They're doing a service project on site through Clean the World. They have donation boxes scattered around. The badges are all recyclable. And then they're also hosting a lot of sustainable education. I've been speaking throughout the week, and we'll have some more sessions tomorrow as well. And they also played host to the Apex Rewrite meetings that Tahira and I were a part of as well. And then something called the Sustainable Events Forum, which we're keeping kind of secretive as to what that is just yet, but we'll have more information coming out on that too. But so they've really built a lot of that in, and there's really not a lot of paper waste. The app is really efficient. And most of the exhibit materials are all reused, and they're smart. They do very well. They really are very conscious. Dale Hudson is a part of it. She's been a long sustainability advocate with the Events Industry Council and whatnot as well. So, yeah, kudos to IMEX for sure.
Thanks, Chance.
You bet.
We'll see you later.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right.
It's nice meeting you, Chance.
You as
Now,
well.
if
Thank
you
you.
see Mariella, can you please send her back to model that dress for us too? Well, Suzanne Metcalf Mulligan, you are one of my very favorite people in the whole entire industry. I know, we're so lucky. So, Suzanne, tell us what you've had many roles with IMEX over the years. So, tell us what you're doing now.
I'm our community engagement manager for IMEX Group, which is so much fun because it means I get to do our digital community. So, if you've been following us on social media, that's all coming from my incredible team. But I also get to do a lot of our internal community engagement within the IMEX office. Because I am one of only 3 Americans in the company, they allow me and my enthusiasm just sort of take over once in a while. So I've started, get to host, we have First Fridays in the office now where we bring in a speaker from outside of our industry to talk to us about what they do. So we've had a virtuoso violinist, a gentleman who does cryptic crosswords, really kind of cool stuff that you wouldn't generally get the chance to get to see or talk about. And then we have a little party in the office. So it's been really, really fun.
So tell us what's new at IMEX this year.
Gosh, everything is new. I mean, I've been listening.
This is amazing.
This video studio is brand new. Yeah, so this was one of our new initiatives from my team. We've been really loving it. So we've taken a 10 by 20 and made it this really quite cool space. Court furniture, actually, Court Events gave us everything, which was amazing. And we've been doing interviews here all day, every day. Tahir is going to be joining us tomorrow morning. And we're using those for content to use for future social media posts, blogs, things like that. So none of that's live. This is the only thing live happening. And then, yeah, as you guys were saying, we have this really cool Zen space. We've taken over an extra hall this year, which is why everything feels really spread out. But it means that we've been able to bring our amazing inspiration hub back on the show floor, which is really nice, as well as our live zone, which we had for the first time last year. So that's here again. And yeah, it's just been really fun.
So good.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by with us. We really like that.
Thank you for having me.
So now what would you say is what's the one thing people can't miss while they're here? Is there one or 7 things that they can't miss? I know. So it's always like I know coffee in Columbia.
Yes.
Right. So and I saw Karina this morning, and the doors were barely open, and that was her first stop. So.
Yes, our company is very into our coffee. We did just do our best of coffee. We are about to release on Instagram our best of sustainability on the show floor, which will be really great. And then we're going to do a best of costume. So I think that it's yes.
Yeah,
we did it in Frankfurt for the first time, and we people really loved that. So yeah, keep
an eye on
our
who are the
Insta.
Contenders?
Oh, well, it's a good question. Actually, I don't know because I haven't seen them yet, but I've seen some fantastic. I guess it's not really costumes. It's more like a lot of national dress, maybe.
Yeah, there's some fantastic costumes out there.
Some really great looks. I remember in Frankfurt we had the gentleman who's painted entirely green. So I don't know. He might have another shot this year.
Is there a place we can go to see all these costumes?
That's a great question, actually. You can see it on our Instagram at IMEX Group, or we're also going to be putting it on Facebook and Twitter, and it's just IMEX Group, or you can follow our hashtag, IMEX18.
And you should follow them on Instagram and check out their stories.
Thanks, Alex.
Because they're super fun.
There's a lot of super fun people.
I'm actually going to check you guys out right now and follow you.
You should let us know what you think.
I like it. So Michael, what's been your favorite thing you've seen so far?
My favorite thing has been, well, I've been looking at my booth a lot because I've been hanging out in the booth. So,
all right.
But last night, I know it's not part of IMEX. Last night I went to the Hall of Leaders.
Yes.
It was really inspiring to see Corbin Ball and Deborah Sexton be honored. And they've been huge mentors to me for the 5 years I've been in the industry. So that was really exciting to be able to piggyback on that event. Here at IMEX, I just love everything about it. It reminds me, so I went to IBTM in Barcelona a couple of years ago. You bring that atmosphere here to the US. And I think that's so important. We don't have events like this in the US, and you guys are doing something different. So, I mean, just the show in general, it being my first year, I would say everything about it is something I've enjoyed seeing.
That's fantastic. We really appreciate that. I think we've been so lucky. This is our 8th IMEX America, and I was hired to work for IMEX. I know, I love that. To help launch here. And I actually was new to the industry when I came to my first IMEX event. But I think what's incredible is the industry, especially in the US, but worldwide, has really supported us. And that's why the show is as successful as it is here in the US. So hearing that makes us feel incredible because it's people like, EIC bringing their event to our show and being able to have that all in 1 week together, I think makes a massive difference.
Well, and then Connect was right before IMEX. And
I know.
That was another way to...
It's going to become like a 12-day event.
Connect and Site did Site Night together. So they had
just
a good
stay in Las
partnership this
Vegas
year.
for a month,
Forever.
event after
We're just going to
event
move
after
here.
event.
We're going to leave England. We're going to be based here.
No, you're not.
No, we will not.
All right. Oh, look, we've got a big lineup of people coming in here. This is exciting.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for
Maybe I should
joining
jump
us.
out and let someone in as well.
Well, hello, Adam Perry.
Hello, how are you guys?
Good, how are
Adam,
you?
this is our first time meeting in person.
Hi, Mike.
We've had many conversations, but very
I feel
nice
like
to
I
meet
know
you.
you.
Yeah,
Read your book?
You've read my book?
Yeah, read your book.
No kidding.
I'm about halfway through. I'm not gonna lie.
It doesn't get any better.
Way to sell it, Mike. Good job. Yeah,
It's reverse psychology.
yes.
We were just talking about all the new stuff going on at IMEX,
Yep.
our favorite stuff that we've seen on the show floor. So what's your favorite thing you've seen?
I'm gonna say this, to be honest with you. I'm not lying either. I think there's a lot of stuff obviously happening at the trade show, which is fantastic. But I think to bring the conversation out of the show and to people that maybe not been able to make it along or just like a different perspective, I've just literally texted back to my team back in the UK like, it's something we should look at. So I'm gonna say this.
So for those who don't know you,
Okay.
tell
Tell
our
us all
audience-
about you.
The short version. So Adam Parry, the editor of a publication in the UK called Event Industry News. We are a global publication. We talk about the events industry from planning, project management, delivery perspective, but we cover the whole sector. So something slightly different to maybe other traditional publications that maybe focus on one vertical. We cover everything from festivals to conferences, meetings, exhibitions. And then probably what we're also known for is 2 events which are coming up in November. EventTech Live, which is a technology focus for the event sector, conference and exhibition, and then an award ceremony in the evening called Event Technology Awards, recognizing what these companies are doing and what they're developing.
Which I would say is one of the most elegant award ceremonies that exists in the industry. Yeah, you guys do a great job with that.
Very nice.
Mike's going to be our new host.
Yes.
Just flattering all of our guests.
I mean,
Come
nobody's going to
along.
walk away unhappy, right?
Hey, I learned from the best. So anyone in the industry who knows Joe Felperin knows that that guy is great at flattery, and that's where I've learned it from.
Especially our DC audience.
There you go. So tell us a little bit more about the show that you do, because I think that something that's really focused on technology is interesting for our audience.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, EventTech Live was born out of actually the Event Technology Awards. The awards was there as part of a launch of my own frustrations. We were writing about technology and technology companies and how technology was being used for event industry news. We saw a huge flock of our readers to that content when we were writing about it. So we saw the interest from the industry there. One of the things that we couldn't find out was like, who are these companies? What are they actually doing? What are the big events that they can talk about? How are they putting that technology in? How are planners using that technology as well? That was a big thing for us. I couldn't find any of that information anywhere. Yeah. If there was an award ceremony or some form of recognition, it was very generic in the way they approached it. It was kind of like one event technology category for all. And like, I don't think you can compare apples for apples in this. Apps and registration's different. Registration's different to selection mapping. VR is different to, so there's no way of comparing in those with just one event technology category. So we wanted to break that down and provide a platform where the companies who are delivering apps could compete against, or at least put kind of tangible information that would be compared easily to other event app companies. We launched that really thinking, if I'm honest, that we would kind of just do this online kind of award ceremony and then, go and meet people and hand the award to them and take a photograph and all this kind of stuff. We soon got people coming in and saying, when's the gala dinner? So the expectation level was up. We put everything back into it. One of the things that came out quickly was the people that were interested in kind of being in the awards were also asking us about content. We want to learn about this. We want to educate ourselves. We want to meet these suppliers, because a lot of them are just kind of behind websites and communication online and stuff. We want to kind of come and see this technology for ourselves. So we did a test bed in year 1, which was a conference, and that was attended really well. Adidas, Verizon, GPJ, some really different people in the room. Festival organized from Live Nation. We're like, you don't really see this. You don't really see a big cross section of the industry like that in one room. So yeah, that's kind of how we launched the EventIcons Live.
Adam, I'm gonna jump out.
That's right. We're like, Mike, sorry man, you are out because we have the very fabulous and amazing Corbin Ball on the way in. So Corbin has just been, of course, please come have a seat.
Welcome.
Have a microphone.
Thank you. Corbin, good to see you, man.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
So we're so excited. So Corbin has been a fixture in the industry for many, many years, in event technology for many, many years. And now, of course, inducted last night into the Event Industry Council's Hall of Leaders. We're so proud of you. And also surprised it took so long. So it's great. So we've got technology, social media, like let's talk. Okay, so now I know you floated through the floor the whole day, and I also see Margaret out there, so yes. I want to know what she thought of last night too. So
well, we had really good, I'm still floating from last night.
I love it. You might just have to lift this up a little bit.
I'm very honored to have to receive that. So yeah, we had a really good time last night. It was a very nice event. So.
Brant, can you please ask Margaret to come and join us for a moment?
I'm gonna get up.
Oh.
Come in.
Oh, now I'm left alone hosting the show. This is a very bad idea. They shouldn't do this at all.
I don't know if she's really excited about that.
No, it's going to be great. Now, Margaret and I met, I think, maybe in Amsterdam.
Yes, that's right.
Right? That was fun to hear. Nice to see you. This is Adam.
What were we doing in Amsterdam then?
Well, I just like to hang out there because it's, it's fun. We just all happened to be there at the same time. So, okay, Margaret, last night was a very big night for Corbin. So tell us your experience of the night last night.
Well, I met his most favorite coworkers or peers, I guess. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Just meeting all the people.
That's so great.
He's
so nice
worked with for years. And
yes.
I hear their names and don't hook them up to their faces. So that was really nice. Social.
Yes. And so nice. It was a lovely speech as well. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Now, when you're just at home, tell us what, like, when you're at home, is he really all about this technology at home? We want the dirt.
This is dangerous.
He is all about the technology. Yeah. He lives and breathes it. So, always doing research.
And do you have a favorite house thing that you put into your house, that a technology thing that turns off all your lights, or things
it has to be Alexa.
Yes. We make big use of that.
Okay. And how do you use Alexa? I've not used Alexa. I have teenagers. I was scared of Alexa. I had to wait for them to leave home.
I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm a bicycle commuter, and in our location, north of Seattle, there can be ice on the road. So I want to know, Alexa, tell me what the temperature is, what the weather is, and then I get my news briefing before I take off in the morning.
I like that.
That's my main function with
I just use it to add things up, multiplications. It's been sat on my desk for a year now, and I'm not integrated in with anything, and just kind of what's 7 times 475? And then it tells me, but that sounds really good.
But we asked before we go to a show at the theater, what's the plot of this movie?
Or just trivia, we were watching a documentary the other day, and it was what is the area of sloths and north and jungle areas of North and South America, so right exactly what you want to watch.
I'm feeling sort of more inspired slightly, that I should probably be doing more with Alexa.
And just timers and set timers and stream music, whatever you want. So it's really a helpful tool.
Do you think voice assistants will be something that we see more of in our space, Corbin?
I think so. Yeah, I think that artificial intelligence and the building of that it's being widely adopted. The interface for voice intelligence, it's finally gotten to the point. There's a classic movie. It was in 1984. It was I think Star Trek 4, where Scotty has been beamed back down to Earth, and he's looking at this computer, and he pulls up, grabs the mouse, and tries to talk to it. And so and it was really funny at that time. But finally, we're at the stage that we can talk to an interface with a voice interface, a natural interface. And one bit of a challenge is that it's oftentimes in a noisy environment, or if you're in a meeting room, you can't go blurting out questions. And so I think chatbots text bots have a place in this as well. But the natural interface is just more and more so that it goes into how you fit that into. It's just a natural way of communicating and finding out information. So I think definitely we're going to see more of it.
I'm interested to see how we'll be able to apply it to our experience. Definitely, I think chatbots have definitely got probably more of an immediate impact. We're going to test one this year on our event, just for general Q&A style information.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
You use the interfaces that people are used to, and people are used to texting. People are used to asking questions, and so I think that you're going to see definite expanses in that.
So we've had a shout out from the audience. Lori Esposito said to say, congratulations, Corbin.
Oh, thank you, Lori. It's been a real pleasure.
Also, we are friends on Facebook, and so I know how many congratulations there's been. It's like hundreds of them. So
it's truly been the highlight of my career. I'm still floating from it. I feel very, very fortunate.
Well, you know, there's still also the opportunity for an Event Tech Award, I see, maybe in your future.
Right. Something we've looked into.
Subtle hint. Yeah, that's good, right? Adam's like, I'm so glad I'm on the show. What else are you guys seeing? So again, technology. So what else is hot right now? So chatbots we know are really popular at events.
Well,
voice
what
activation.
we're seeing on the show floor is mergers and acquisitions.
Oh my goodness!
Two major ones that are happening. That are
Cvent has
Cvent and ITN and Cvent and
social tables,
and then Eventry and ITN. That
yes.
is a huge one that adds on very significant capabilities
yes.
on the high end for Eventry. So,
yeah, it's been very exciting out there.
And both of them is following the pattern that they've repeated over and over again to acquire additional functionality and customers.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing that. And so the challenge remains, you know, how well and how fast can you integrate it? But I think that they are, on both sides, they're very much working for that. So
yes.
It's nice to see, you know, the big players, that there's competition between the two big players. Competition is a good thing. I'm happy to see that.
I think it's a really good thing. I think it cements the growth of this side of the industry, that technology is being adopted more by the sector, and you know, Cvent and both Eventry and others want to kind of make that process of adoption easier and more seamless for people to use. You know, not having to have data and information siloed away and everything can talk to each other. I was actually with Cvent recently, and I think then we're going to move to more of an open API platform, so other technology can kind of integrate with it. I think that's also a play for them to be able to see what's popular and make even further acquisitions. But yeah, it's good.
Integration is absolutely the key. And that's going to be if you have something like the Event Tribe with different ones working on integration, or you have the major companies, the key challenge is integration.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like we still have some guests lined up.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Like, it's really, honestly, we're so happy.
Thank you.
So happy for you. All right, Brand, who else do we have out here?
Thanks.
Not to just fill in any dead space, but hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Who are you?
I'm Kiki.
Hi,
Kiki Fox.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you're Kiki Fox.
I'm Kiki Fox. Yes, the
so
infamous.
great to meet you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm the president and co-founder of the Association for Women in Events.
Yes, you are.
But I'm also
I know who you are.
Yeah, I'm also a senior manager for national sales at Core Apps, an event technology company.
Yes.
So
we stopped by Core Apps on I have to do another
fabulous.
event technology tour in about 20 minutes. But we
Awesome.
stopped by Core Apps this morning. So,
Fabulous,
yeah.
fabulous. Yeah, so I'm here on behalf of AWE at IMEX, but obviously always wearing two hats.
Yes.
So loving it.
Always have to wear two hats in this industry.
Two
you don't have
hats,
two hats.
maybe. Oh yes, thank you. I know I match your microphones.
Yes.
We planned this.
I'm on brand. I'm very much on brand.
You know how we like to keep things on brand.
I know. I do love
Which
it.
means everything's either purple or neon. We don't like to keep things on brand
No, not
because
on
that's
brand.
awkward.
Yes.
Matches my hair too.
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah,
So wait, Kiki, we haven't had you on the show yet.
Yes,
which is
I'm brand new.
Unfortunate.
I know.
So,
I'm
give
so
us
happy to be here. Yes.
1 second bio.
1 second bio. Let's see.
Life story.
Life story. Well, been with Profs for 7 years. I know. There's my thing.
Sorry, game over.
Yeah,
All right,
over.
we'll see you guys later.
Yeah. No, the most important things to know about me are I love the events industry, absolutely obsessed with it, sort of fell into it and stuck around. Can't get me out of it even if you try. And a couple years ago, 4 other amazing women and I decided to start the Association for Women in Events in 2015. It's a fully volunteer-run organization. We all have paying jobs, and then we give our blood, sweat, and tears to this, but it's been absolutely incredible. We basically are here to create a community for women. Men are welcome to join as well, but so we can connect people. And we have not only in-person stuff, but to create an amazing global platform, we have a ton of online community. It's about half of what we do is really based online because you can't always meet in person. And so one of the best ways to connect is to do so virtually and to be able to talk to people of all different backgrounds. So we have a board member in New Zealand. We have members all over
I stayed with that board member in New Zealand.
Oh, really? Yeah,
we were
great.
online friends for 9 years, and then I
Really?
went to New Zealand, and she's just like, "Come stay at our house."
Isn't she incredible?
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's really amazing. We have different groups.
What girls do.
Exactly. I know. I've already told her I'm coming to stay at her
connections, yeah.
house too. But yeah, I mean, it is really all about connection. So it's been really amazing doing that and seeing the support for that. And then the other big thing to know about me is I'm a crazy cat lady.
Oh, me too. I'm a
Yeah.
crazy cat guy.
Oh, yay. High five.
How many cats do you have?
I only have one. My husband said that he was
What?
fat enough to be several cats. And so I'm trying to sneakily pull more in.
You just got to find them on the street and just say, it didn't have a home. And that's what I do to myself every day.
So I have 3 feral cats that I feed outside.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. So I have other cats too. They just live outside.
Like, we have to take this. We're going to have to do a crazy cat lady episode on the icons. Just
Yes.
I'm definitely hosting that one.
Yep.
No. Oh. I'm
It's
not in
fine.
charge
We
of
can-
content
we can
anymore.
fi- we
That's
can
why I'm
find
not in
other
charge of
ones.
content
No,
anymore.
you can do it. We
Yeah.
just won't be on.
Yeah.
Fine. I can
Rich and I
fill
are
it
more
with
the
tons of
stuffed
people.
animal type, like maybe a puppy, a bird.
I have a cat, but I'm not a crazy cat lady.
No. I couldn't have any pets because my husband didn't have time to take care of anything else.
Yeah, luckily this cat is relatively
just you.
low maintenance, but he is so I work from home, so my cat is my secretary, and he
Yeah.
sleeps on the job all the time. It's terrible.
Terrible.
He's the worst. I keep threatening to fire him, but he's so cute. So.
He is adorable.
I just
Yeah.
stayed with some friends with cats, and there was a lot of like walking across the keyboard.
Oh yeah, tons,
So it's-
day in and day
yes,
out. Yeah,
yeah.
he types a lot of my emails when they don't make sense. I just, it's him.
Perfect.
That's why they need like the super autocorrect. Right now, Gmail automatically decides
yep.
what the next words are, so he just needs to hit tab and
Yeah,
it'll write the email for you.
Exactly. And you would probably write a halfway decent email too with that. So.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about AWE for our audience who's not all here. So
Yeah.
how can where are they going to find out more information about AWE?
So it's womeninevents.org, and you can go. We actually just launched our brand new website yesterday in time for
Oh, that's
IMEX.
amazing.
Yep, it's beautiful. Our PR company, Davies and Dixon, created it, and ASP is our website sponsor, and they do such a good job. But they can go to womeninevents.org and learn more. We also launched 2 new membership models for IMEX. We launched everything for IMEX. A lot of stuff happened yesterday, and I'm so happy that it's all there and
You're
working.
so happy it's today.
And I'm so happy it's Wednesday now and it's all over. But no, we launched 2 new membership models. So you have a key membership, which is if you're just starting to get to know AWE, you want a little more information, but you maybe don't want to fully commit. You can learn more about it that way and get access to some of our online education and some of our in-person events. And then we have a premium membership that gives you access to the full community, our members-only Facebook group. We also have an immediate coaching program. So online you can go and say, hey, I need advice on this. And these are all the people that said that they can talk to me about this.
Fantastic.
And directly connect with them. And we also yesterday did the sort of soft announcement of our first in-person event in DC in March.
When's that going to be?
March 7th. Yes,
7th.
in Washington, D.C. So we're really excited about that as well. You can also follow us on Twitter, AWE Women. We used to have a Twitter chat. We're trying to get that up and running again shortly. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know we're definitely going to have you on the show for sure.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I
Of
would
course,
love to
if you're in
do
the
that.
chat
Bill's
right now,
working
you
until
want
like
to see
next
Kiki.
August, but
Yeah.
We're booked out pretty far. We're really busy.
Yeah, I understand.
they're very organized, which you have to
Very
love,
organized.
actually.
Well,
Yes.
we have monthly webinars, so I'd love to get you guys maybe to come on and talk more about, AWE is all about technology. We have such an online community, and I know
Yes.
people are really always itching to learn more. So we'd love to have you guys on too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Mutual Admiration Society. It'll be great.
Well, the crazy cat people will be allowed.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
you guys.
Now,
We'll have our own
enough,
webinar.
fair
Are
for
these
that.
guys out here crazy cat people? I'm
I
not.
don't know. Well, I'm gonna go hop out real quick and start getting these people organized to get them in. But you guys keep talking.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so technology.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
It's my favorite technology. Oh my gosh. So on a
Or
personal
that,
level,
like you can't live without technology.
oh god, well, my cell phone obviously, but on a personal level, the thing that I'm most obsessed with recently is virtual reality. I keep trying to get my friends to go in on a machine for me. I just think yesterday I was flying in the play booth.
Yeah.
I was flying all around. I tried to fly through a building.
Yeah.
You can't do that in that game.
No, no,
but
because buildings are solid.
yeah, and I legitimately braced for impact. It's so real. I love it.
That's fantastic.
I was trying to fly in virtual reality, and I thought I could Superman through a building, but I can't.
So maybe, Nick, you could Superman through a building because you are a comic guy.
I would love to try that, but mostly like roller coasters in particular.
Really?
Oh.
I didn't think that. So last year I was here, and a friend of mine named Harry Workman had this VR roller coaster downstairs. There's like a chair that we could use in addition to the VR, and I was like, well, I hate roller coasters. They make me sick, but this is like a video game, so I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And I was just as sick. So that's a good test of it. Authentic.
Absolutely. They had something in the Play Lounge too where you walked a plank on a skyscraper. I've never been more scared in my life. And it was carpeted floor. I was moving so carefully. Yeah, I know.
It's only
Yes,
dangerous.
you can
scary
like
things.
garden and maybe cook a meal.
I did
No,
some
of
fun
course not.
archery. Yeah. Exactly. But it does create a really cool opportunity. You know, if you can get, again, I'm not 100% positive how to do it, but like if you can get all these people to have VR in their living room and you can be, you know, around
You
a bunch
are like
of people, a networking
you
event.
just made every kid's dream come true.
Exactly. But you're in a networking event from being in your pajamas. Like,
Oh.
who doesn't want? Exactly.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now so
Okay, so this is, for those of you who don't know this solopreneur who wants to live in his pajamas, this is Nick Borelli,
yeah,
nickborelli.com.
Nick's been on a lot of shows, but why don't you give them the 30-second for anybody who might not know?
you got 1 second.
Oversaturated marketing
30
guy.
seconds. I only got one. Yeah,
is
come
the-
on. Harsh.
What's ours?
You got 30 seconds. I only got one.
Oh, okay.
But we're interrupting your 30
marketing
seconds.
guy.
So.
Marketing guy. Am I
You
good?
said 1 second.
You literally said 1 second.
Oh.
It was the 1 second intro.
Hi.
Back to you, Nick.
I'm good. I just do marketing for events and event people. One of them is here. One of my clients doing VR, all seated
very cool.
for room design. So we've been.
Where can we find All Seated, Nick? I haven't seen
on
them
the
out
trade
there.
show floor.
Where on the trade show floor?
They are with the IACA.
Okay. IACC.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're, I guess, like half their space because they're branching off into Europe more next year, and obviously venues are their stock and trade.
Yes.
But I've got to play with some iterations of that software in virtual reality on the Oculus. It's a lot of fun, and I can see a lot of fam trips that never should happen, maybe going away. I could see it going from a logistical tool to a sales tool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the potential to add on more and more stuff like lighting and more immersive things like other senses being involved, like soundtracks. Have you guys ever had a client that has no creativity?
No, all clients
Have you ever
are,
had any clients
have
the other
lots
with
of
any
creativity, and they're also very visual, so they must see an exact picture of every single thing that's
Exactly.
going
So you give them a CAD and it makes sense to you, but they look at it like it's like Chinese and they're not Chinese. Then this is a great experience for them because they can go, oh, there actually is enough space between this table and this table.
Yes.
I can't wait for these. I can't wait for these days. Yeah, where you can
Yeah.
go into an
I'm
empty,
such a visual person
go
as
into
well.
an empty ballroom
I mean,
and just go, okay,
yeah.
here's what it looks like in rounds.
Right, exactly.
Here's what it looks like in theater
So
setup.
we have a guest who I know has a serious time frame issue who is waiting. She's a meeting architect. So we're going to bring Ison in and talk about space.
I can hop off because I have to go get a massage. Doctor's orders.
Well,
Excuse me.
look at you.
I know.
Go,
Because
girlfriend.
I need a prescription for a massage.
It was so nice to
Pleasure.
meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. I'm hoping somebody like just with a hook pulls me off when it's my time to go.
Yes,
Like,
well, I'll be leaving
That's-
next.
that's Will's job.
so,
Cool.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, so
Hi,
everyone.
Ison Lynch, welcome. So
Thank
Brant, Nick Borelli, Ison. Ison and I met at the Fresh Conference in 2015. Never said, you must meet Ison. And I was so tired. I was like, I can't actually talk to you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. So we did. But Ison she's among many things, a meeting architect, an ROI genius. She's with Tourism Banff Lake Louise now, but has had many iterations. So we were just talking about VR and space and
some of the possibilities that these technologies are opening up on the back end. So everybody's like, "Ooh, let's use them for the attendees and stuff."
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really excited about the possibilities for venues, for hotels, and things like that to be able to provide virtual tours. Maybe eliminate 1 or 2 site visits. Really, there's a lot of potential there, and then just being able to see the rooms in different setups virtually or using augmented reality. So
Yeah,
that's kind of stuff
absolutely.
Like CVBs especially, like they should be jumping all over this to give you a real experience, because I think that like your problem would be nobody would believe all of that cool stuff exists in one place.
That's absolutely true. We absolutely have that issue that people actually can't believe it. And we say seeing is believing, but not everyone can come out and see. And so from a CVB perspective, we're absolutely looking at what tools are out there that we can bring that touch as close as possible. So we've already invested in a couple of tools that I can't really say yet because we haven't announced it, but it's going to allow anyone from
Just
anywhere
between
in
us.
the world.
There's nobody out.
No one's watching
No,
right now. No one's watching. But we've already started investing in that, and we're having a look at what can we bring to the meeting planners out there, but also the next generation of planners. Also looking at our competitors, also looking at the meetings landscape and saying, how can we make this a little better, a little easier, a little less intrusive as it relates to time, our biggest asset, that each one of us have. So yeah, we are investing in it, and we are looking at ways of bringing Banff to the rest of the world, Banff and Lake Louise.
I'm going to let you guys keep talking because this is actually super interesting, but I have a technology tour to go and lead. So I've got to walk to the other side of the show floor. Don't stop though.
I'll see you in the F section. That's where all my stuff is too.
For anybody that doesn't know, Tahira is one of the busiest people at IMEX. She is constantly running around giving tours, speaking at the various booths that are out there. It's pretty amazing. It's like 5 minutes before we're supposed to start. And we were hoping she'd show up, and she did. So it worked out well.
Wonderful. So tell me, guys, what's hot on the radar? What's happening with you guys, or what's keeping you up at night that you're excited about?
I mean, data's a huge issue. I mean, for me, like I said, I'm interested in the AR and VR side. That's kind of what's tickling my fancy at the moment. Hey, we're getting somebody in. It's Aaron Kaufman's joining us.
Apparently, I get the host seat.
There you go.
That's a big mistake.
Also, regular guest on the show. Why don't you, for anybody who might not have seen those episodes, why don't you give them the 30-second intro who you are?
Forget it. If they haven't seen the episodes,
Screw it. All right,
fuck them.
All right,
let's go.
So
I do.
One of the staples of Aaron is.
I do an annual episode called "Shit Event Planners Say."
This
I
isn't
also
live, right?
It is actually live. Yeah.
You're kidding me.
No,
right?
I'm not. It is actually.
and
live.
the scales are balanced here because Canada on this side, right? You're Canadian,
Absolutely.
right? So am I. So we're good.
We're
And then
good.
Americans,
so strong and
right.
didn't apologize. You didn't assume he was Canadian, but he actually is.
Yeah, we're usually a little bit more humble.
But Toronto. Does that explain
that
it?
explains it, yeah. We'll
So-
take it. We're unified. We'll take it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's also very Canadian too.
Yeah.
So Brant.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. No, I'm just. I'm in the host seat. I'm in the host seat.
You are in the host seat.
Well, I mean, you just asked what keeps us up at night. What's the new and exciting thing? So we'll turn that around and turn it back on you.
What keeps me up at night?
Yeah.
It has to be work related, I'm assuming.
Doesn't.
Okay. I mean, I've got 3 small kids,
Yeah,
so that keeps
they
me up
keep
at
you
night.
up at night.
Same. How old are they?
That's it. I have twin 4-year-old boys.
I got twin 8-year-old girls,
Oh, there you go. And I have an 8-year-old daughter.
and I got a 9-year-old daughter.
There you go.
Yeah.
Canadians do everything the same. Everybody.
We're cut from the same cloth, but yeah.
But I will tell you that I'm seeing a lot of not last minute booking necessarily, but last minute changing. So I am finding actually the last 12 to 18 months that my clients are a lot more savvy in their preparation, and they are keeping up to date on a lot of new ideas and new technologies, which is kind of a pain in the ass because sometimes they'll see, online somewhere somebody's done XYZ application or whatever, and they're like, hey, this would be cool for a conference. And I say, well, that means changing around almost everything.
Just going for the shiny and not
right. Well, they don't get
thinking it through.
the production of it all.
The
They just
domino
want-
effect,
Yeah.
right? Of one
So
change or a
that's
few
something
changes.
that's keeping me up at night.
Will and I were speaking at a conference on Monday.
Yep.
And we had a planner there who was booking her AV 5 years out. Not a 5-year contract,
Wow.
but there was actually booking the AV companies 5 years out. So that's like kind of the other end of the spectrum.
Is that forward thinking, or is that really pushing the bar too high?
Yeah, and to be fair, it's a very heavy technical show, and they fly out the technical director for the next year to come see this year's show. That's like a requirement. But then I went around the room. I was like, okay, so that's an outlier. How many people do that 5 years out? It's like nobody raised their hands. You know, all right, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then people start maybe raising their hands. 6 months, more hands go up.
Yeah.
And even like it got down to like 1 month out, and there's a few people like that.
She needs to train everyone else, I guess.
Yeah.
Imagine having a contract for 5 years, though. Like what it would do for everybody. Like you could, obviously, the deals that could be made are a lot probably cheaper, and the connections and the growth you can have is so much stronger.
But how do you move forward with meeting design if you're not including like the major players like that until the very last second?
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
And that's a really good question. You know, how can you predict as well that the needs, especially in this domain that we're operating in, it's still going to be the same in 6 years? So, you know, with meeting design, it's really about having the right people that have got a strategic vision, that's open to change, but that have got the fixed elements there that need to be bolted down. You know, it's like building a house. The foundation needs to be so solid that any brick you put in place will actually stand up. Meeting design is no different. You really need to have the core and the crux of the program bolted down, and then you can start building year by year. Especially, we're seeing clients that are coming to us 6 years out. You know, we've got a program in 2024.
Agencies of record, though, like that's not an uncommon practice for them to be locked in for 10 years.
You know, I think the problem, though, in our industry is that when you are another company with an agency of record and they're locked in for X period of time, I think what's happening is that they've earned the trust of the client in order to be able to suggest when is the time to pivot, when is the time to do this. And that's a back and forth relationship. But I do think that in our industry, what's really happening is clients are coming to us and saying, here's what we've usually done. Here's our message. Here's how we want our message presented. Now you just have to determine what we're looking at to do it.
Right.
Right. And
the
so
commodities
I
and
think
the things can change over time, but I guess it's just locking in someone on their creative output exclusively. And then the rest of it, as long as they believe that person has the ability to pivot in any direction creatively, and they're invested in growing themselves, then it's not as bad of a thing. But
yeah, I don't think the market trusts that we as an industry are experts in what we do. I think they go, oh, that's a decorator, or that person knows lighting, but they don't really get what that means.
Yeah.
And I think, or that person is a venue person. Like that's not a job, a venue person. That person's a conference director or a food and beverage manager. That's a little bit more specific. We have a problem also delineating what our jobs are. So
and aren't.
We can't explain it to other people half the time. But needless to say, people don't position themselves as expert in our industry, which is why, you know, this all kind of happens with the pre-booking, and you can choose your AV company because they don't really care. It's an AV company. So
I know you're getting ready to run. You said you had a pretty tight schedule, but it brought up a question that I think I'm going to start asking people, which is, how do you introduce what you do at a party to someone who is not in our industry?
That's cool.
Absolutely.
What do you, so you're at a party and it's not an event industry party. They say, so what do you do?
You know, that's an interesting one. I take a couple of angles. You know, as an ROI professional, I can really, you know, talk to that, you know, measuring the value of meetings. Or I'll go down the arm that I'm a curator, and I'm a curator as it relates to conferences or convening people with convening groups with purpose. So, you know, we convene for 3 reasons: to network, to be inspired, and to be educated, or to ideate. And I'll talk about making sure that, you know, I'm the person that has a strategic vision to bring that together. So I curate programs, and I can do it based on any one of those 3 reasons. So yeah, it's a tough one. Our industry is taking leaps and bounds there, you know, every day. But again, it's hard to put a framework around what we do with so much sort of engagement with so many different fields, you know, intercepting what we're doing. So yeah, I like to say curator, and yeah, let the conversation
like
go
a museum,
from there.
That's a great answer.
I do get that though.
I tell people I breed rabbits. It's just easier. I don't know.
I tell them I'm a weaver, and they'll be like, oh, what do you make there? You're an artisan. And I'm like, of sorts. So it's definitely a great conversation starter. But I think, you know, our industry is so exciting. It's not static. It's totally dynamic, and we've got to run with it. And if it means that we've got to have those long conversations, that show the value and that demonstrate what we do day in, day out, so be it.
If you get past the first like 15 seconds with someone,
yeah,
they usually get interested in what we do. It's like,
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
what? That must be so cool. And like, you know,
And
you
it
talk
is
about the
because-
windows into all these different industries and you know,
Oh, absolutely. And we've had some wonderful conversations, you know, with, you know, the head of leadership or the head of HR or the head of, you know, business development, because what we do is so far reaching, yet, you know, we just somehow haven't been able to put a hat on ourselves and frame ourselves in, which is probably a good thing as well. So, yeah, with that, I'm going to mic drop, guys.
Yeah, I didn't
and
want to give you the bums rush, but I knew you had other places to be.
I
besides
appreciate the
us.
chat, and C1236, that's where we're at, Canada.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Go Canada.
All right, Nick, what do you tell people when you're out at a party and
Yeah.
I think we're alone now.
Yeah.
I say
just us boys, you know.
event marketing strategist,
Yeah, okay.
and
do you get a blank stare from that, or
no, like people know what each one of those words means. They just don't really know, like
putting them all together?
yeah, like yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really apply to most people. They go interesting. If I say I'm a speaker, then they lock into that way more.
Yeah.
So if I actually want to have a conversation with a layperson, then I'll say I do a lot of professional speaking, and then they go, oh, that sounds like so scary.
That's a thing.
Yeah, the scary thing I hear so much, and I'm like, only if you care about what people think about you. If you've already resigned yourself to the fact that you don't care, then it's really easy.
Are we being joined by another guest?
If you can get through all the wiring.
Yeah.
You did
Hello.
it. Nothing
Make
even
sure
fell.
the switch is on. Switch is on. Yes. All right. Good.
Hello,
All right. Tell us who you are and why you're here.
I'm Megan Powers with Powers of Marketing, and I'm here actually. The San Diego State Hospitality and Tourism Management program has me here covering their launching of a new Meetings and Events Masters with MPI. So,
Cool.
yeah, doing their social media.
All right. And the new question of the day is: if you're at a party and you are introducing what you do to someone who is not in the events industry, how do you introduce yourself? Or what do you? So, what do you do?
Well, see, it's kind of a different.
Yeah.
I'm a marketer. I don't relate it to the meetings industry. Like I work in the meetings, and sometimes we get to the when they ask me
Specialties and niches.
who's your primary client. Yeah.
Sure.
By virtue of the fact that I've worked in meetings and events for 20 years.
Got it.
That's kind of the space that I live in, but not
You
exclusively.
just say marketing.
Marketing.
And then that people are like, oh, that's a thing. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that people know what that means.
Some people do.
Yeah, most people think that you do like advertisements on television for like chicken places, but
Yeah.
I get a lot of like really weird questions about what that means. But yeah, have you ever done television ads?
No.
With clients?
No.
I've done that. It's terrible. Were you doing marketing like when it was like all print and bleed and what's the word, kerning, and like those were the problems?
So when I started in marketing, I was working for a corporation, a software company.
Okay.
I was
in-house?
doing their marketing communications. Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and that was like 1998 when websites were just becoming a real thing.
HTTP
Yeah.
/
Yeah.
which is the slash and which is the backslash?
Yeah. And then if you used a WYSIWYG tool,
Oh, less
that-
than.
like,
Ooh.
well, at the time, then like it was a Microsoft WYSIWYG Pro.
Okay.
So it
Front
crashed Netscape.
Oh,
Netscape
yeah.
for any of you.
So all the kids at home are
Old
watching
folks
this,
out there.
scratching their head, Googling things. I did straight HTML and text, and I had like a little like thing on the bottom of my website. It's like, this was made in Notepad. This wasn't made easily. I worked harder than I needed to. I started building sites in like 93, 94. So like it
Oh, wow.
was like when I got onto the internet initially, it was text only browsing. So when I actually started doing like real work in-house for a marketing company, our budget was $36,000 a year with Yellow Book. So like things have changed.
A little bit.
Yeah. Like do you worry about Yellow Book that much for your clients?
Not even a little.
You just remembered that's
I
a
don't
thing.
even know what that is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a phone
Right.
book.
Well, they're yellow. I mean, they.
Oh, you meant like
yellow,
literally the yellow pages,
Yellow
or-
pages.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a brand.
They
it's
have
a
an
brand of phone.
online
Okay.
presence now.
So when I started my
YP.com.
company originally, it was with the number 5TH, and everyone asked me if it's around the movie, right? But the truth of the matter is that when I started, people were still using Yellow Pages, or I'm from Toronto, so yellow.ca or whatever it was to use a directory, and I didn't want to be like first plus events or something. And so I went through second kind of seemed dumb. Right. AAA events.
Yeah.
So what I did was I went with the number 5 TH. So I'd always be at the top of the directories. And then I grew up and my wife said that my company name sucks. And so I changed it to Fifth Element Group spelled out because I think it's a lot nicer. But yeah, that's interesting. And now my kids, they want to see pictures of people online sitting on the yellow pages because that was the thing that everyone ultimately did with them anyways, was as a booster seat.
So what's the state of the art now is what I was going to say. So
they're doorstops now.
Yeah, I like that they deliver them to your house in a bag because it makes throwing it away easier. But like, I just think that they're just littering at this point.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I live in an apartment complex in San Diego, and they just drop them downstairs to stack them. They don't even bother putting them in front of your door.
I think Google should put out a directory.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you're listed in
like
Google,
400 pounds.
My Google alerts feel like I get the equivalent because I have like 40 of them. So it's pretty terrible. I live by it on Google Alerts.
What's your top 5 Google Alerts?
Marketing activation, experiential design, conference marketing. I'm trying to think of the ones I really like. Event industry, because that's usually like B2B news.
Toys and dolls.
Yeah, probably.
Nick plus Pirelli plus awesome.
Oh yeah. No, I'll tell you one thing I've always done in Google Alerts when I like worked for somebody is I would put their name in there because I wanted to know if like it was like my employer was going to be like on the front page of the paper because I've like worked for people that have been arrested many times. So like I wanted to know that I was going to be like it's going to be a bad day
Many
at work.
times.
Yeah.
Many times. Let's emphasize that.
Three specific times the founder of companies I've worked for have been arrested.
For,
so cool.
For what kinds of things?
Do you want to know their names? I mean, no. What kind of things?
I just want to know what kind of laws.
Environmental pollution, collusion with like cooking books for collusion with government, basically making like large fundraising events look like 30-person wedding showers, like event industry crimes. It's great.
Nice.
I've been in the event industry since I was 14 years old, and I've worked for people that have allowed me to do more than I should have because they're made poor decisions, and here I am today.
Well, I tried to take it to the next question.
Yeah.
which was we talked about the old school way of doing it. So tell us some more about what are the new techniques that we've got as far as event marketing.
Well, in terms of digital marketing, I mean,
sure.
Digital
stuff.
It's constantly evolving.
The stuff that you do.
Right.
Tell us about
anything about the new stuff.
Tell us about the stuff that you do.
Well, I mean, it's not new, but it's something that people aren't doing. And part of the reason why I get work is because I think that there should be a strategy behind what you're doing rather than
crazy talk.
Right. Rather than just hiring an intern to, they're a millennial.
I like this conversation.
Or Gen Z, right? they can totally handle our social media. Like, how about let's create a strategy behind it? First of all, what do you want to accomplish with it? And then let's work back from there. Like, and to me, it's about all of that. Like, the tools are secondary. I mean, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Snap, whatever du jour.
Snap du jour.
Snap du jour.
I have a real question. I know this is a shocker
that wasn't
to
a real
everybody.
question.
I have a legit question. Okay. So here it is. No cursing. Real question. So there are a lot of people who will say the exact same thing, right? And I know you have a wonderful reputation, although we've never met before. But I guess my question is this. What separates a good marketer in this area from someone who is capable but not an expert?
I think listening is key, like and having a two-way conversation rather than just spouting out whatever content that you're cooking, whatever you're selling. I think that really engaging with your community goes a really long way. And again, that sounds super basic, like to people who that's what we do, but
sometimes handling the basics is like the hardest part of stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like doing it well. The difference between doing it well and doing it average is often the basics.
Well, because a lot of people will say to me, we can do your social media. We can do, like, I get it. I can do my social media. It doesn't mean I'm doing it right.
Right.
So I think it's one of those things where, again, marketing is a very broad stroke on an industry, and I think so is social media, right? When someone says, "Oh, I'm in marketing and I do social media," I mean, so I guess, you know, and I hear it a lot more around our industry. You know, as our industry becomes more savvy, I think people are talking a lot more about the use of social media, and I think we tend to be a little bit further behind in looking at data and metrics and things like that. But this is why, I guess, for me, a lot of people approach me and say, I'd love to be doing your social media, or I'd love to be handling your conference clients, or I'd love to be preparing strategy on this and that and whatever else. And I look at them and I say, what exactly does that mean? And often they're unsure, right? Well, what are your clients looking for? What's the deliverable?
Right.
And I think,
well, what are you trying, I mean, what's the end goal? Is it to get people to your event? Is it to just promote your company? You know, having a clear call to action in social media is very important. And the bottom line is that tools change. So we want to be driving people to your website, to your blog, to your, you know, to the real estate that you own.
Sure.
Because Facebook could go away tomorrow. It's not likely, but you know how tools change.
I was going to say, to answer Aaron's question, I was going to say adaptability also.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of people who can become proficient in these tools, but that doesn't necessarily mean they know the strategies. And if the tools change at the rapid pace that they do, they're still using them how they thought they knew how to use them. And it takes time to learn the new features and the algorithms and all that stuff. And I think a lot of people make false promises. And I think also it's talking to the client and figuring out what their needs are, and also telling them when they're wrong. I think a lot of times I have clients who come to me and they're like, well, we want more followers. I'm like, I don't think there's any more followers you can get. Like, you've tapped out your industry for the amount of followers you can get. I can try and get you more followers by doing different tactics, but they're not going to be engaged followers, and they're also not going to be anyone who's coming to your event.
Well, and that's vanity metrics, right? Like, and that's what I try to talk to my clients about, how, like, numbers, it's like low hanging fruit, right? Like numbers are an easy thing to have, like, to have a goal for, to, you know, have as a target. But what is that getting you?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that more people are attending your events?
Right.
Or does that just mean that more people are following you, and if you don't follow them back, they're going to unfollow you again? Like that whole loop that happens.
And I also think there's a difference between a marketer and a marketer who understands events and knows the events industry. I just partnered with Eventry, they formerly known as eTouches, on an events industry survey on how event planners and organizers are using social media for their events. And one of the terrifying statistics that came out of that research was that 96% of our respondents are using it for marketing, and only 38% are using it for something like crisis communications. And I think that's the differentiator there, is the people who are doing this social media, do they understand that there is other uses for these tools besides marketing?
That's fair.
And broadcast market, just like blah, 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 without ever getting the feedback back.
Yeah. So I have a prospect that I'm talking to right now. He's a professional athlete, and he wants his numbers up so that brands will see his numbers go up, so that they will hire him to be an influencer for them. And I use that term. I was like, okay, so vanity metrics, like and he explained to me, he's like, I understand, but this is, I'm going, because I said he's got like 123,000 followers on Facebook, which is respectable. And at the time he had like 54,000 followers on Instagram. And I was and J-Lo, I mean, prior to that whole peach bikini photo shoot thing that she did, which I'm sure shot her numbers way up, she only had like 79 at the time. I'm like, man, if you only have 25,000 less than J-Lo, I think
Wait,
you're doing
what was that?
well.
I don't do much on the gram. Maybe I need to.
So, but events, I think we're way behind. Like you said, you know, there are so many more things that organizations can be doing to benefit their events. And and it's not just about selling tickets or, you know, getting butts in the seats. It's about a whole bunch of other things.
And so what's if you were going to break down for any good event company. So let's assume we're not talking a beginning company. Let's assume we're established already, and a company has a couple thousand followers and whatever else. What's the first step in kind of breaking down what needs to be done? So someone calls you and says, hey, whether it's this athlete or otherwise, obviously you want to learn what the goal is, but what's the first step to establishing a strategy?
So it's funny because I'm right now, I'm my new client, San Diego State. I basically needed to hit the ground running and just start posting before I didn't have a chance to creating a strategy in tandem with creating content and posting for them, which is kind of strange. But I think hashtagging is an art and a big thing, especially in our industry. I try to tell people like Event Profs is the gold standard. If you're posting without the hashtag Event Profs, you're not going to be seen by anyone. So looking at the industry that you're in and figuring out what are those hashtags, and then having some key hashtags that are exclusive to you is good as well. But then also seeing what other people in the industry are doing, and I do an audit and look and see, all right, where are the numbers? What's the cadence to how they're posting, and then looking at competition, seeing what they're doing, and kind of and then obviously building the strategy around what are we trying to accomplish.
Sure.
Comment from the chat, Lori Esposito, who's been watching. Hi, Lori. You have to maneuver between people who get social and people who get branding. It can't be just one or the other if they are responsible for representing your brand. So I thought that was an interesting.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Maneuvering between people who get social and people who get branding. So thanks, Lori.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, it definitely the branding, the look and feel of the company that you're posting for. It's funny though, because I hardly ever get to work with an established brand. I'm always starting from scratch for my clients. So I look forward to the day when I get to walk in on some awesome numbers and turn it upside down.
All right. Well, I think my time is up in this seat. I think I did
real
a
quick,
good job as a host,
real quick
no?
before you walk out, tell us a little bit about Search.
Search Foundation. So Search Foundation, we have a booth here at IMEX. It is the top fundraising arm of the event industry. So we raise money for event professionals, by event professionals. We do events at conferences and trade shows all around North America, as well as we have some great support from a lot of the industries associations and stuff like that. www.searchfoundation.org. And this pen that I'm wearing, I don't think you can pin, that I'm wearing, it's for the Search 100. We're looking for some new people to join our Search 100. It's $100 a month. It goes to an amazing cause, and we just give away the money to people who need it for medical crisis or natural disaster. And I appreciate you giving me that plug.
I got you.
So
I got
it was
you.
a nice setup. All right. Well, thanks EventIcons again. Visit number 84.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next episode.
And we
Sure,
have
Event
the
Planners Day.
purple too. So Search.
I love the purple.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a new rotation in. I think we haven't seen enough of Will, so I'm gonna rotate out as well.
Collision. Perfect.
Welcome to the show, Kate Delaney.
Well, it's nice to be here. Thank you very much.
You are an EventIcons virgin, and we are so excited to have you here on the show. So tell our audience, for those who don't know you, what you do, who you are, and why you're here.
What's your jam, as I asked you earlier?
I love that. What's your jam?
What's
have to
your
remember
jam?
that when I leave here. What's your jam? So my jam is that I'm like the ultimate glass ceiling breaker. At least that's what all my buddies tell me. And that's because I was rejected 500 times before I finally got a gig in sports. There were no women doing sports radio. I'm still the only woman who does a solo show on NBC Sports Radio. And I got that break maybe 15 years ago. And it was exciting because finally all of the days of bagging groceries and shagging golf balls, caddying, doing whatever I could. What am I doing with my degree? I come from a family of lawyers, and they kept saying to me, when are you going to law school? I don't understand. Why aren't you going to law school? They made me take the test, and I didn't want to do it. I was creative. I was a content person, and I love sports, and I love business, and I wanted to do that, and I wanted to speak. So I was speaking at the same time and making a living doing that as well. So my jam is that I teach other people how to deal their own destiny. Don't listen to the critics when they tell you can't do this, you can't build it, they won't come. I mean, here we are at IMEX, and there's people that started businesses with a handful of dollars in their pocket,
and they didn't listen to what people were telling them. But you'd be shocked at how many people don't follow their own road. So I say, you have to go all in, patience pays, and you got to stack the deck. You need advocates. That's what's great about shows like this, because you're connecting with people that you could do business with, or maybe you connect them with someone else, and you get to meet suppliers. You get to meet cool places where you could go have meetings, and it's really neat.
So you have a book also.
I do, and I said deal your own destiny.
check it out.
So check this out. Deal Your Own Destiny is
How
and if you look
appropriate
on
for
the back,
Vegas.
you can see my bios there. But what's really cool is there's some cards. Yeah, how appropriate.
Yeah.
And I lived in Vegas. Is I'm actually the queen on the card, and there's a microphone on that.
Awesome.
Isn't that wild? So yes, Steal Your Own Destiny. It's Forbes published.
Cool.
That's an advanced copy. It comes out November 9th. So in a couple
It'll
weeks.
be everywhere, Amazon, wherever
It'll
people
be
buy books.
Amazon, in airports and bookstores. and all that kind of
Congratulations.
stuff. Thank you.
So my question is, what's it like publishing a book? Because obviously, like, I'm very digital. We were talking about digital versus traditional, but it seems like the big thing now is like to actually publish a physical book. So what would be your suggestion for us inspiring authors?
Well, there's lots of different ways to go. So before the Forbes came to me and they wanted to do my business book and do my story, I self-published 3 books. And one of the good things to do, especially from a business perspective, you definitely have content. I can tell all 3 of you have content. Okay, trust me on that. So you could do a tip book. And if you do a tip book, it's what do you have that people want to know that's unique about you that you can share with everybody. And if you do that, you sit down every day or figure out a way to write it, and you just start pouring that out. Or take your blogs, if you've written blogs, and they could become part of a book. And you just start to write that, put that together. And one of the quick things to do is, I think you have to come up with a clever title and start with chapters. So you could come up with 8 chapters, come up with the name of the chapters, put them in front of you, and then just start pumping out the content with that. I guarantee I could help all 3 of you, and I'm not selling that service, but all 3 of you could do a book. I know it because I've had conversations with you off camera.
Megan, have you thought about writing a book?
I have outlines for 2 books.
Ooh.
So one is on solo travel, and actually wrote the chapter names in Notepad in Fiji. I was on Tokariki Island in Fiji, drinking Fiji water, not kidding. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to write what the chapters are. I have not done anything with it since. But then I also, one of my clients I've had for almost 5 years is a marketing group. So I do marketing for 3 restaurants, and restaurant marketing is not done very well out there. So I have written an outline for a book on restaurant marketing.
Oh, that would be hot. Are you kidding? How many restaurants are there in the United States, or
That I want to eat at.
Yeah, exactly. I want the cliff notes on that. Yeah, right.
Well, and I'm their photographer too, so it'll have good pictures in it.
So actually, that's an interesting question. What's the #1 thing that restaurants blow when it comes to marketing that they don't do well?
One way, they're only broadcasting. They're not engaging with their community.
I like it.
That's the thing I see the most.
And that's the same way with events.
Yeah.
Like I don't think
And all businesses.
I don't think that's unique to restaurants.
Right.
But I think with restaurants, especially when you're talking about locals who come back to restaurants frequently, when they post about the restaurant, it would be great to be engaged with. And I think that's the same with events though too, because you see people who come back year after year after year. And I find that even just liking someone's post is enough to make them feel special. And I think it's probably the same with restaurants.
Well, see, so like, for example, doing this live streaming right now, and that's getting pumped out. Obviously, there's interest in that. I mean, how else do you think you could almost do that with a restaurant, couldn't you? I mean, a special occasion.
Yeah. Well, and I've thought about, I haven't done any lives from the restaurant side. I think about it when I'm down there. I meet with them once a month. I always do an Instagram story for each restaurant when I'm down there. But yeah, it's an interesting thing because getting people's, sign off on being on camera, and it's kind of a weird thing for lives. People are there eating. You don't want to be like someone's like not supposed to be there, you don't want them to be on camera. You know what I mean?
I
Like, kind of
didn't
thing.
sign a waiver. Was I supposed to sign a waiver?
But I could totally, I need to put together a strategy where I'm like in the kitchen, like let's do some behind the scenes live and
show them how the sausage is made, literally.
Exactly. The chef, what's a special dish, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to take a moment to welcome our new guests, Kelsey from Court, who actually furnished this beautiful studio.
Nice. All of our beautiful furniture.
And Kelsey, this is not your first time on the show.
I was actually just on the show for the first time a couple weeks ago talking about all of this lovely furniture. So excited to be here.
It's nice to see it actually happen.
Yeah.
So Kelsey, staging has to be big for Court, is it?
Staging is huge. I mean, we do everything from trade shows to events, so it just kind of depends what everybody needs.
Has that changed with the way meeting spaces have changed? Like we see this venue.
Yeah, meeting spaces have completely changed. I mean, back in the day, you're used to the typical ballroom chairs that are all linked together throughout the whole entire thing. Now everybody wants to be comfortable. They want to be lounging like we're lounging right now.
I want a phone charger in my chair. I know you guys have that. Right? That was the best thing at SEMA Summit.
Yes.
My chair had a charger. I walked away from an entire day of a conference with 100% battery. It was magic.
I call it people's binky because if you can just plug it in, people will let it go and feel comfortable, and then they'll pay attention to what's happening around them.
Binky, I like that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
21st century.
So what's the toughest thing about working with a venue? When you're imagining it, they have what they think is the right thing to do. How do you make that leap with a client?
I don't think there's one single thing that is tough about working with a venue. I think that every venue is different. I mean, some venues we have to work with unions. Everybody loves a good union. Some it's time of day that we can go in, the flooring. It's just all different factors.
Nice.
And do you feel like you really have any competition?
We definitely have competition, but there's room in the sandbox for everybody.
Right, right.
What a politically correct answer.
I love it. I think we learned that in about kindergarten, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I just ask because I think you guys do a really nice job of sponsoring and helping organizations out with their needs, and so I feel like I see your company's name more than anyone's.
Definitely. Our company definitely takes a stance on all of the different organizations, especially when our account executives are passionate about it. For example, I'm a huge supporter of ILEA and the Search Foundation, so we do a lot with them. I know there's many other organizations that our company is involved with nationwide.
Yeah. How many events do you do a year?
That is a great question.
Too many to
I'm
count.
I'm scared to know the answer.
I'm scared to know the answer.
Yeah, more than 5. I probably am involved with like somewhere around 50 to 100, and we have about 30 account executives nationwide. So I can only imagine, especially when we get into like the New York and California markets.
Right.
The bigger ones.
50 to 100. So do you ever see your home?
What's home?
Exactly.
No, I live on the back of a court truck.
There you go.
Now, I have a question. Are you seeing more unique spaces being asked for, like this space right here? Are you seeing more of this kind of requests, and how is that changing the way that you're working with the clients?
We're definitely seeing unique spaces, a lot more division of spaces, I think is the best way to put it. For example, we're kind of in our own little area in this huge conference right now. So using things like hedges and divider walls to create individual spaces that feel comfortable and homey instead of feeling lost in a sea.
It is amazing how intimate this space feels. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking from home, you would not know that we are in the middle of one of the largest trade shows in this industry right now, because we feel like it's like a living room.
Yeah,
It's great.
Over 3,200 vendors, I think.
Yeah,
here
it's
today.
insane.
Yeah.
We're in like a little 10 by 20 maybe.
What's crazy too is that you can hear so well. The acoustics of
Yeah.
it, and that's part of that coziness, don't you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, we're kind of it might be a little bit different if we were smack in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
We're on the sort of on the edge.
On the
but
edge.
Living on the edge. I really like the expansion this year. Them getting another hall makes all the difference. I felt like last year having it on 2 levels was a little bit difficult because, well, especially for the planners who have so many appointments and they're like running. So for them to squeeze in any education in between didn't really happen last year.
Yeah.
The downside was I tried to go to the bathroom earlier and I accidentally came out in the wrong hall. And I was trying to come out by Thailand and I think I ended up by Mexico. So.
That's what you do. You memorize the country or the state so you know where you are. That's hilarious. We were talking earlier about writing a book. I think you should write a book. What's it like to do 50 to 100 to who knows how many shows and how different they all look?
Yeah, I mean, we do everything. I'll do, 4 pieces for something like this to 12,000 pieces for a show. So there's definitely
wow, 12,000 pieces.
Gotta love the Waste Management Phoenix Open.
What is your favorite piece of furniture?
My favorite piece.
Have you ever been asked that question before?
I haven't been asked the question, but I have this thing where I like to touch things. I really like our Wagner chair because it's a fur chair, and I just kind of want to snuggle into it and call it a day.
Fur chair.
Yeah, think about that for a second. A fur chair.
Yeah.
What color is the fur?
It's white.
Oh.
It's called the Wagner chair, and I absolutely love
Wagner chair. I'm going to look that up.
I'm going to get one of those for my new apartment.
Considered it.
I feel bad for your warehouse crew that has to keep those pieces clean. Yeah.
Everything gets wrapped individually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of work.
Where's the main headquarters? Because I know you're.
It's actually here in Las Vegas. So it's our biggest headquarters. We service pretty much the entire United States out of it, but we have 16 warehouses nationwide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you do any work internationally?
We have international global partners that we work with. We'll do some things in Canada, but it's a little bit difficult to get things through.
That tax. That tax.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
And what do you guys do for marketing? Do you have a marketing team that is in a corporate office?
Our marketing team is actually based here in Vegas as
Okay.
well. We have most everything out of Vegas. And then Kevin Dana, he's in charge of our entire marketing department, and he does all of our studio shots and things like that. And they all run our
Wow.
social media.
Cool. All right, so we have to have some fun here, right?
Absolutely.
Well, this is fun. A friend of mine would ask this question. So, broccoli or bacon? What do you prefer?
Whoa. Can I
Is
have
that
broccoli
even a
with
question?
bacon?
Broccoli. Because you're politically correct and all the answers.
I should have been Profs.
She doesn't want to hurt the broccoli's feelings. Is that what's happening
I
here?
love broccoli. I'm like a veggie girl.
All right, so
Bacon. Always.
Always.
Bacon.
Always
All day,
bacon.
every day,
What is wrong
and
with
twice on
you
Sunday.
know they put bacon in everything. Bloody Marys with bacon. I mean, on everything.
I'm
It's not
sorry.
just
I
for breakfast.
apologize to our vegan audience and vegetarian audience.
That's true. But that's why we have broccoli.
But that's
right?
why we have
So
broccoli.
it's fair.
Yes.
Just saying, right?
Equal opportunity.
Maybe a milkshake with bacon around it.
Exactly. That sounds
have
good.
not had
I
one
think
of
we have some
those.
people that are dying to come on air, so
Yeah.
I'm going to give up my seat so that somebody else can come in.
I'm staying.
Kelsey's staying. Welcome to our new guests.
Hello.
We are so excited to have you.
Excited to be here.
Tell the audience who you are, what you do.
So my name is Jessica Gibbons. I work for C2 International. I am the Director of Global Partnerships for this awesome company.
Yes.
My name's Adekambi Lele. Everyone calls me Camby. I run key accounts for Click, a smart wearable technology company.
Awesome. I don't think we have had wearables on the show before.
Really?
Oh, we did. Okay. Okay.
Not me,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay.
One of my colleagues.
So we have had wearables on the show. So C2 is partnering with IMEX, correct?
That's correct.
Tell our
yes.
audience about that partnership and
So
what
we're
that looks like.
super excited about the partnership with IMEX. I mean, IMEX are truly leaders in innovating the meeting industry. Obviously, as you can see here, we're bringing together everybody for this momentous occasion, and that happens twice a year in Frankfurt. So
Yes.
we've partnered with IMEX as educational partners for the next couple years. So basically what that means is we're both joining on our missions to help evolve and transition the meetings industry into the future.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know what C2 is, if it's possible to describe it.
You want my elevator pitch?
Yes.
It's definitely possible to describe. So We are a business event that happens in Montreal every May over 3 days, founded by the wonderful Jean-François Bouchard and Daniel Lamar. I believe Jean-François Bouchard is going to be on the podcast.
Scheduled to be on the show in a few weeks.
So
yeah.
that's pretty exciting. So they came together 8 years ago and really wanted to reinvent the way people meet, putting them in uncomfortable situations, getting them to connect in meaningful ways, getting these amazing thought leaders on stage to not necessarily be the center of the conversation, but really be the igniters and have people come from all over the world, from a bunch of different industries, to provide inspiration to essentially change the world. We also have C2 International, which runs private events for companies.
Yes.
So organically over the past couple years, there's been all of these amazing companies and CMOs and decision makers that have come to C2 and just really loved it and essentially wanted to take a little piece of that and do meetings like that for their people and their clients.
That's extremely exciting. And where can people find out more information about C2?
So you can go to c2montreal.com to check out some more information. And of course, the best place to see all the latest and greatest and new news is to check out our social media.
Yes,
C2 International.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us more about your work and what you're doing in the events industry.
So Click is a smart wearable for conference meetings and events as well. We do everything from 100 people networking events all the way up to 60,000 people, huge corporate events. Really, it's a smart wearable that every attendee gets paired with. It partners up with either a web-based application or an app that you can download on the Android and Apple store. Obviously, it has all the features as your normal app, so your schedules, your speaker information, but then we have a couple of features like the Smart Match, so you can see who's attending and connect with them beforehand. We have things like touch points, so then if you see something you like at a conference, you can go ahead and click with it. We track everyone passively, so we know where you're spending your most time and who you're engaging with, and we're able to push you information based on that information.
So what would you say is the biggest challenge that you faced in the events industry with attendees? And
honestly, it's people have been in the industry for 10, 15 years sometimes, and they've been doing things a certain way. And sometimes to get them to step outside the comfort zone a little bit, to step outside the box, that sometimes they've been doing things, they've been getting small results, and they're almost okay with that.
Yeah.
And they're almost as scared of the data and the analytics that we're able to provide, because a sponsor could spend maybe $100,000 on a booth, and they're assuming that people are coming and spending time there. But really, when you see the numbers, maybe it's scary that, wow, we're spending this much money and people aren't actually coming, or they're not spending as much time as we thought.
Right.
So, that could be a scary thing. But now it's actually
the first thing I thought was, I don't know if I want to know that.
Yeah, but that's it.
And that's why we work with Click, is because we like looking at ourselves in the mirror and testing what we thought intuition-wise was a good idea. So we're able to see, like, what are people doing? Where are people going? What sessions are they in? What are they saying on their surveys, but what are they actually doing?
Yeah.
So that helps us create an even better and more badass event for the next year.
And I think the data part is the exciting part about it, but also
Or
the
scary.
most terrifying part about
But
it.
from an attendee perspective is, you can say you want to go see a session on augmented reality or virtual reality. But in reality, when you get there, you're spending more time learning about machine learning or artificial intelligence, whatever it is.
Right.
So as a company, we can actually start providing you more information on the things you're actually spending time with, or the people you're actually engaging with, right? So then it's, maybe you think you like certain things, but in reality, you're doing something else. So let's push you more of that information, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So does something like this kind of take the place of scanning someone in?
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
like
instead of
I hate that
actively
awkward.
having to go and do stuff, and people are walking around the room and trying to scan your badge, or even here at the door trying to scan your badge, why don't you just walk in? Because we can passively do that, right? So from an attendee perspective, it makes it easier for them.
So how do you help planners kind of make sense of all this data? Because it can be overwhelming.
Yep. We obviously have a really simple and clean platform, so you can see live the information while you're on site. We've had clients being able to look at that information and be able to make changes on the fly. For instance, one of our clients had a lunch, and they had bought, I think, originally 2,000 lunches, and they had a plan with their vendor that they could actually scale back. They looked at the heat map, said there's only 1,500 people on site. We're probably going to lose a couple more during lunch. So they cut back on their lunches and saved a whole bunch of cash right there. And that's information that, they wouldn't have had any other way. So yeah, that's just a quick example.
And do you find that planners are nervous about making those changes? Like with C2, do you make changes on the fly? Is that something you're comfortable doing?
So we're really lucky with C2 Montreal because it's truly the true expression of our creativity. I mean, that event, we really don't have to answer to anybody. Right. It's awesome. We get to ideate. We get to put our new ideas out there. We get to test new things.
We get to test new things.
Yeah, and working with partners like Click, you know, we're able to sit together just after C2 and figure out, okay, really, what do we want to do and change for next year? So we're really collaborative with one another. We were talking about it before, like change sometimes can be scary. So on our C2 International side, where we do events from 100 to a couple thousand people, sometimes the change needs to come gradually. So we'll definitely bring in like certain elements that create a C2 experience, but we won't do a whole C2 Montreal.
Right.
And it's really the same thing for us, that the way we built our platform is that you can turn features on and off as simple as a click of the mouse. So really it's maybe you just want to do contact exchange your first year, and then your second year you want to do contact exchange and perhaps push information or touch points. These are really things that we can slowly start introducing to your attendees so it's not overwhelming for them at first.
But change really, and this is something about Click where it was just like mind-boggling to me, is we're so ingrained in the way that we do things. So example, the business card exchange. Like we've been doing that forever at every conference we've been to.
Yeah.
So with the Click technology,
out.
which is super awesome, you just, like you're engaged in a conversation, you're talking to somebody, you literally just, you click your badge, it lights up.
Yep.
We're not stopping our conversation. And,
go ahead and click again.
Oops, sorry.
I think your battery's dead.
I can't multitask. Sorry. But what my point is that this technology changes human behavior.
Right.
So last year during C2, within the first 35 minutes, people stopped exchanging business cards and just clicked.
Yeah.
So bringing it back down to what we really want at C2 is to have humans connect.
And I think it also helps the attendees not have to worry about so much. Like I run into so many people who are like, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot my business cards. I don't connect with me here. Do you have somewhere to write my email down?
Yeah.
You're right. It stops the connection. All of a sudden it becomes about how do I get your information and not how can we help each other?
Yeah.
It's really like it's human-centered design. That's what we focus on.
And even if it's, let me get your LinkedIn, for example, and you grab someone's LinkedIn information, what are the chances you're going to remember that person's name to find them post, right?
Yeah.
So the way we built our platform is that it's a timeline that every time you click with someone or every time you go to a different session, it's there for you to remember. You can just scroll down and see all that information in front of you.
Yeah. So we have a new guest.
Yes.
Hello.
Claire from
Thanks for
BizBash.
crashing your party.
That's okay. The more the merrier.
I am the West Coast Bureau Chief of BizBash. So I'm just kind of catching up on what you guys are talking about.
Cool.
Thanks. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So we have been talking about C2 Montreal and wearable technology and how that helps attendees connect with each other, the human-centered design. So what are you seeing in the industry? With BizBash, you're really you see everything. So tell us what you've been witnessing.
Well, it's so interesting being the LA editor. Obviously, so much of what I cover is entertainment focused, or the really over-the-top wellness summits and beautiful floral displays. So it's so interesting to kind of come here and see all of that infiltrating the meetings industry, the really personal focus, the really focus on out-of-the-box thinking. And I think C2 kind of leads the way on that. Yeah. I love your cloud lab over there.
Thank you.
I'm sure you guys have talked about that already. But just such a fun out-of-the-box idea. And I think it's fun to see different industries coming together. Everything about face-to-face gatherings is kind of overlapping now.
And I think that's really key you don't find inspiration sitting at your desk. You don't find inspiration talking to your colleagues and peers within the same industry all the time. You find inspiration in completely unique environments, in off-the-wall type places, sometimes in uncomfortable situations. And that's really what we strive to do.
So what would you say to an event planner who struggles with getting their stakeholders to agree to being more creative and using wearables and the data and everything? Like, what kind of advice would you give to event planners?
You want to go first? Because that was a lot of wearables and data. And
I would say start small.
Yeah.
It's kind of that saying of when's the best time to plant a tree 25 years ago? When's the second best time? Today.
Right.
So it's like start small. Don't be afraid of it. Work with great partners as Click or C2, and we'll walk you through it. We'll hold your hand. And I always tell clients, we're not here for a sprint. We're here for a marathon. So if we got to start small this year and kind of organically grow with you, that's what we're here for.
And always don't forget about the why. Like, why are we doing this? Why is it important for people to meet? Because if you the human connection is extremely important. I mean, the meetings industry is multi-million dollars.
Yeah.
And if people aren't meeting face to face, we're not able to change the world and make big decisions. And there's a lot of things happening in the world now within industry and what have you. And we need to get together and talk about that in order to move forward into the future.
Yeah, and for us, we really start with the attendee. That's where it all starts. And I think same thing with C2. It's all about the attendee and having them really at the center of everything.
Yeah.
And then if you put them first, it's going to be a home run.
So what kind of trends are you seeing with BizBash and all the things that you go to? What kind of trends should we expect?
I'm seeing a lot across all industries, a big focus on kind of genuine connections and authenticity. And if you guys have touched on that yet, but that's also kind of something you guys really do so well. Yeah, I think just, again, in such a technology-filled world, making everybody feel like they're a person. They're important to each event they go to. Again, finding value in face-to-face and seeing why that's so important in today's age. So yeah, I've just seen that kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Even from the big entertainment galas, nonprofits, down to meetings industry. So,
And I think that's right. I think the authenticity factor is really important. I think it's something that we're craving right now. I think that's why you're seeing a lot of behind the scenes and peeling back the curtain and showing how the sausage gets made. And you know, I think we're curious people. We want to see how these experiences come to life. I think it's no longer about just experiencing the magic, but seeing how the magic gets made. Yeah.
Which is a huge, strong reason why, I mean, our partnership with IMEX is a value, because that's what people are craving. And we're very happy to kind of lift the curtain and inspire and teach what we can.
Yeah. And I think it's great that we have industry organizations who are able to partner with each other and really be able to help, because I know for me, you know, especially in social media, when I started my business, I was like, we need to educate people like why this is important and why we should be doing this. So I think it's very exciting to see that is a goal of C2 also.
Collaboration is key.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I love my CEO, David Adler, always says we're all collaboration artists. And I love seeing all these different organizations who should possibly be competitors all working together. And I think it's very much an event-specific thing.
We love David. My first meeting with David actually was in a pool of balls at C2,
As it should be,
about 2 years ago. Yeah.
He says he's always millennial minded, so I'm sure he loved that.
It was awesome.
So tell us, with BizBash, you are doing something very interesting. Your new magazine issue just came out. And there's a lot of AR in there.
Yeah. So speaking of David, he went to an event that will.i.am was speaking at, and he was showing his new comic book, which was enhanced by AR. And so David, of course, was like, let's do this for print. We haven't done a print magazine in about 2 years. But we decided now's the time to bring it back and let's try it. So it's very cool. You flip through. We have a special app that you download. And it's great because it pops up vendor information, it pops up graphics. So we're kind of seeing, like, again, back in this world of let's get away from technology, let's get back into basics and connections. And we thought, why not do a print magazine again and kind of see how it goes? And the response has been great. At our LA show in July, we said that the print magazine was coming back and the entire room cheered. So I think people are really, really craving that.
So we have a question from the audience. Reed Stockman asked, what challenges do you find with attendees still wanting privacy with wearables, if any?
Honestly, we don't, out of all the events, I'm trying to think of all the events that I've been to with like hundreds of thousands of attendees in total. I think I've had maybe 2 people really kind of say like, no, I don't want to be tracked. Because at the end of the day, we find that as long as we can offer a service to the attendees that's more than what they feel they're giving in return, which is being able to track them, then it's worth it for them, really. So it's the fact that you can do a contact exchange, the fact that we can push information to you so it's easier for you to remember. The fact that you can click with certain products and get that to your timeline. The fact that post-event, everything's in one spot for you. So I always tell people, do you remember the first event you ever attended? Right? Chances are, no. Do you remember the people that you met? No. But now you can. You'll have a platform. You can go back as long as you have access to your email address to go back and remember who you met, what you did, and share that with your colleagues and your friends and your family back home. Right? So that's what you're giving up is, yes, your privacy, but that information is also used to better your experience on site and for later events. So
the pros outweigh the cons.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know it's C2 because that question has come up for us before, and
Yeah.
it's super interesting because the type of attendees that we have and participants are, we kind of like to call them the curated edge. So they're the people that are looking for something new, something innovative. So they're super excited to be involved when we introduce anything new. So especially with the technology layer.
Yep.
So they're super collaborative and love to try, clicking. So I know our participants really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, real quick, back to BizBash. You also did something else new with your magazine. You now have a top 500 people in events. Tell us about that.
So this has been, people either love it or hate it, depending on if they're on it.
I was 501, I guess, right?
We're
501 and 502.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm on it.
So yeah, I actually was not that involved, but I know our editor-in-chief worked very closely with several researchers. And yeah, it's kind of an art, not a science. You could put thousands of people on this list. It's such an amazing industry. But we just kind of wanted to highlight how varied the industry is, and just how many people are doing such amazing work.
There's a ton of categories. Of people
So many
just in there.
categories.
I was like, I did not know that existed in
Yeah.
events. Good to know.
Yeah.
These are people I should follow.
And we're looking into doing it again next year. So if there's anybody we missed, pitch us. You guys.
But I love that point. You're completely right. Like there's so many different industries that people might not know about, and everybody's always looking for different thought leaders that they can follow on Twitter or what have you. And I think it was really great that you guys put forward all of those leaders in the industry, and we'll do it continuously year after year of people to watch or people that you can pull inspiration from.
And we're working on our list of, every year we do a list of innovative people, which is kind of profiles of 20 or so people doing really outstanding work. So that should be published in about a month right now. We're kind of still working through it, but that's always a really fun one to kind of see the truly most innovative people.
Amazing.
So, it's great.
Really cool.
Okay, we're gonna rotate out everyone because we have the IMEX crew here.
All right. There they are. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We're excited. If you want to hear more about C2, look forward to a future episode coming up. And if you want to hear more about Click, we had them on the show in the past, so you can find that in our archives. And of course, BizBash, we love having you here as well.
And come check us out tomorrow morning at 9:45.
9:15.
9:15.
9:15.
Quick little plug.
9:15. Camby and I are talking about technology and human-centered design.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Exciting.
exciting. So if you're still here at IMEX
Yeah.
tomorrow at 9:15, come check them out.
Cool. Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
So we're doing a full rotation here because we've got three esteemed guests. There we go.
Hello there.
Hello there. All right, now that we're all settled, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves because you will do a better job of it than I will.
Hi, I'm Karina. I'm Karina Bao, the CEO of IMEX.
Am I up already? Oh,
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Garrett Hygop, and I'm together with Miguel creating IMEX episodes. Should check them out.
Hi, I'm Miguel, and as Garrett said, we're here making IMEX episodes, having a lot of fun.
Excellent. Well, so one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, this is now the 8th year here. How has the show evolved just in that amount of time? I mean, I've been to, I think, 5 or 6 of them. I know Tahira's been to all 8. So how, from your perspective though, how has the show evolved so far?
Well, it's grown a lot for a
Yeah.
start, which is good. Yeah, I mean, it's evolved massively, really. I think one of the things that we've really changed and evolved over the years is the experience around the show as well. So, of course, it's grown in terms of the destinations and the companies, the hotel groups, etc., who are here. The tech area has grown a lot. But even more than that, the education, the innovation, and all the experimental sort of activities that you can do around the show and learn from. I think that's probably the thing that's evolved the most. And we've learned a lot over that time in terms of what we can do around the show that's not going to take away from the business aspect of the show. That's what people come for, but that's just going to add value to people rather than take away.
You gotta love these guys streaming within the stream. It's in the stream of the stream.
We're not streaming anymore, Brent.
Okay, sorry.
It's a big confusion that we should maybe clean out because I was just counting while we were talking. This is the 7th years out of the 8 that we're part of the social media team, digital team as it's called now. Last 2, I think we do something every 2 years. So we've started with the IMEX social team, engaging with exhibitors on Twitter and on other social media platforms. Then we upped up the game with the Facebook Lives. But that's old news. So now we're creating the IMEX episodes, but we still have a lot of people around. They're like, oh, I want to be on the Facebook Live. We're not live. Well, we are live.
In some ways it works though, because we don't tell people that we're not live. We just say we're filming and we just walk up to them and ask. And we do that a bit intentionally because it just makes it fun and we get that instinct reaction. It's not a kind of, I'll go back and prepare my answer. It's what's happening. And that's, I think, really captures the essence of IMEX for me.
That's something that's evolved a lot. You know, we keep evolving, you know, what we're doing on the digital side and social media as the platforms have changed and as we've learned what does and doesn't work. So we've tried a lot of things, haven't we?
As the majority of the audience are planners, what are some of the largest challenges that you've got with a show of this size and one that is continuing to grow?
I think one of the biggest challenges is, you know, nowadays people want a personalized experience. And so when you have a show of this size, how
it's harder to do.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you do that? It's not just the size of the show, it's the number of different people that are coming, a number of different constituents, because every sector, if you like, of the meetings industry is in the room. So how do you create content and experiences and value for all those different sectors? That's really the biggest challenge that we face, and make it valuable and keep everybody happy for the objective that they're coming to the show for.
How you know, we talked a little bit earlier with Suzanne a little bit, but they didn't get too much into the numbers at all, and I don't know if you know many of them off the top of your head, but just to give folks kind of an idea of a rough amount of attendees, where people are coming from. I mean, it's a truly international show in like incredible amount of countries that are represented here.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have over 3,500 exhibiting companies, and they represent 150 countries. In terms of the attendees, in terms of the total kind of population of people coming, which I think is important because it kind of represents, you know, they're all meetings industry professionals. So there'll be in the region of 13,000 meeting industry professionals here this week. Any day in the hall, there's some around 10 to 11,000 people. And they are coming from about 80 to 90 different countries. So yeah, it's a very widespread representation, and as I say, they really are representing every type and sector of the meetings industry.
So you know, kind of going back to the challenges again a little bit. So with that much of an international contingent, how does that affect things like registration and websites and things along those lines?
Yeah, actually, interestingly, IMEX America is easier for us on that in that regard than Frankfurt, because although we have a very international contingent here, 75% of, say, the buyers that are coming are still from North America, and you know, a higher percentage of the attendees are from North America, and so actually it's Frankfurt that has the greatest challenge in terms of communication, be that our marketing materials, websites, etc. But the only thing I would say is that you know, the international language of business is English, and so we do things majority of the time in English. When we're in Germany, we obviously have a lot of German content as well. But more than language difficulties, it's what people expect, how they work, how they view timelines. You know, those are the difficulties that we find rather than language barriers so much.
Because after all, it's a trade show of doing international meetings, right? So
Exactly. We do kind of expect people to have a basic level of English if they're going to be able to come here or to Frankfurt and do business with the international exhibitors. That doesn't mean it always happens, but largely, you know, if you're doing business internationally, you need to be able to speak English.
It might be along the lines of, you know, choosing which child you like the most, but of this show in particular, what is the section that you look the most forward to? What is the part that you're like, you know, you've enjoyed seeing it grow, you know, those kind of things, but what is this, when you look at the show and you're like, oh man, I can't wait for this part?
I have one.
Okay, I was going to come down the road.
Must be the EventIcons live shows, right? I mean,
That was what I was going to
It's the
say.
newest, best addition to the show floor, ladies and gentlemen.
What about you, Miguel?
I don't know. I think going from the previous question, I thought it was quite interesting. The social side also is a bit more uniform here. So I think that has a big impact. We try things, and I think we get very much instinct or quicker reactions here than we do in Frankfurt. Frankfurt's a bit more scattered. Different people use it in different ways. I think here, I'm going to have to say Rendezvous. I know it's, you know, it's the fun, it's the easy answer.
Inca, what is that?
But it's, well, okay, so a Rendezvous is the MPI Foundation event. It happens on tonight, Wednesday night. It's, I think, about 2,000 people.
He's such a big partier, this guy. Oh my God.
But it's an amazing event, not just because it's, you know, it's a big party. The club is amazing. It's partially outdoors and indoors. So it really appeals to even the most introvert person. They can just have a nice conversation outdoors and just reconnect with someone. If you want to go crazy on the dance floor and have shots or whatever you want to do, that's available too. But it really brings people together in a party atmosphere that I think is quite unique.
Yeah, I agree. So it's a great event. I don't know if I can pick just one thing. I think as an organization, yeah, you kind of love different elements of each show. Each show has a very unique atmosphere. And so it's, you know, it's not that you like one more than the other. And whilst you're doing one, you love it the most. But yeah, they're very, very different. I mean, certainly here in Vegas, one of the things that has been amazing has been how the Las Vegas hospitality community and the meetings industry have really rallied around us as a business and the show and supported us. And so we always look forward to coming here and seeing those friends and working with those organizations and those people. And we've just really found that support has been amazing and has genuinely added a lot to the show. And the partnerships that we have, you know, with the industry associations like MPI and Rendezvous, all of those events that happen around the show here in particular really just add so much value for everybody attending. And so I always look forward to that, really.
That's, you know, and that brings up an interesting point that this show, unlike a lot of, you know, typical trade shows and things, it's in one place every year. And so it gives you guys that opportunity to build those relationships instead of, okay, well, we're going to be in Memphis this year and we'll be in, you know, Toronto next year and, you know, moving things around. Was that a conscious choice in the beginning or something that just kind of happened, or how did that come to be?
No, that's a very conscious choice. I mean, we're not a trade association, so we're not, it's not a convention that moves around. It's a more traditional trade show where you build those connections and those relationships over a period of time. Certainly with the logistics we have with the hosted by program, it's not a show that's easily moved either. So no, that was a very deliberate choice both in Frankfurt and Las Vegas to keep it here, to work with the city and to build it with the city over that time, and the city can then benefit from that partnership. The support they give us at the beginning, they benefit over the longer period as well.
If you think about it, it's kind of surprising that more shows don't do that, you know, with all of the logistics and having to change things up every single year. the fact that the majority of the shows do seem to move things around is kind of a head scratcher to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think it's a different thing. If you're a trade association and you have your annual convention for 2,000, 3,000 people, and you want to change that up every year, give people different experiences. You have your partners that are in our industry in different destinations. I think that makes more sense. But for us, being a sort of more traditional trade show in that respect, I think it makes more sense that we commit to a destination and build with the destination.
Okay. And I assume there's no plans to move the show anytime soon.
No, not city. Obviously, we're moving from the Sands to the Mandalay in 2021.
Right. Okay, yeah.
But we've still got 2 more years here, and but yeah, we won't move out of Vegas.
That's going to be a little earlier next year too, isn't it? Right?
That's September next year. I just want to say, we talk a lot about meetings, meaning business, and I think that's a really good example of how that works. Like you're saying with association that move around, you're trying to build membership in different cities, you're trying to give attendees a different reason to travel because maybe they haven't been to that city. But here, no disrespect to Vegas, people don't come for Vegas. I mean, people are attracted to the city, but they come here to do business, and they come here to meet, and that's what's really important. So I think it's a real testimony to that.
It is, and it's a testimony to the show that you guys have built here, how much business actually gets done here, and how, for me personally, I'm not bringing a group to Kenya, or anything like that, but I still love this show because of the people that are here and because of, the opportunities to network and all of those things that are part of the show. Maybe that's not the core of the hosted buyer portion of the show, but all of those kind of ancillary things that go along with it.
Yeah, no, they're very, very important. I mean, as you say, people come to do business.
It's on.
People come to do business, but those sort of extracurricular activities, if you like, are very, very important.
And I'll also second the foundation event. That is an amazing event. And you're absolutely right. It's an incredible venue where you can just have a quiet conversation in a corner, or you can go absolutely ballistic on the dance floor. Awesome. Okay. So I think we've got some more folks lined up. Thank you guys so much.
Selfie, Brett. We go for selfies.
There we go.
There we go.
Really appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
And any viewers still on, make sure you search for the IMEX episodes on any social media channel of your preference. Doesn't matter if you're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever. IMEX episodes, and you find all the little bits.
Is that where you guys are going to be publishing a lot of the interviews that you've done in this space over the course of the...
No, that's more for the longer term.
Okay, all right.
That's what we're publishing throughout the show.
Now.
We got our vlog of the show, pretty much.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's 2 vlogs a day. We got 5 out, 6th one coming out in a few hours. So, yeah.
They're really good. It's like gives you a really good sort of experience. So as you were saying, it's like when we first did Facebook Live for the first time, I remember saying to Miguel, "Oh, that's the first time we've been able to really just to get out the buzz of the show out through social media." And I think the IMEX episodes do that really well as well.
Anything else you guys want to add before we head out?
No, that's
I think
good.
let's end on this high.
Okay, all right. I like it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we've got more rotating
Bye.
in.
Bye.
Oh boy, here comes some trouble. So that's just me. So I didn't see you come in. There we go.
Hi, Brand.
Hi.
How are you?
I am doing well.
Make sure, is it on? Am I on? Wow. I feel
Okay,
important.
wow. Oh, boy.
Look at I
You
met
know,
the
for
big
some
kids.
reason, I feel like I should take this off.
Why? Why? Don't.
That's
right.
right.
Oh, no,
okay.
that's Shauna's stick. Where's your red one? Where's your red one?
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
All right.
Put it on.
Most of you guys have been on the show at this point. You have.
I have not.
You have not. You have.
I have. Yeah.
You have, though, right? Yeah.
I've been on the show.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
I got thrown into the
There's
mix.
we're like 130 episodes in at this point, so
we were what? We were at the Search
What am I,
Foundation.
chopped liver?
Apparently, I'm sorry. Let's go down the road here. For anybody who hasn't seen these folks, go ahead and introduce yourself. Give your 20 to 30 second intro of who you are, and what you
That's
do.
all I get?
Well, we gave Kiki 1 second, so
Okay.
it's actually a benefit.
Okay. Tracy Stuckrath with Thrive Meetings and Events, and I help planners and hotels not kill people with or offend them with the food that they serve. Ooh, that's good.
Oh,
I like
that's
that.
good.
Yeah. I'm Shauna Suko, and I try not to kill people with boring meetings. I am the founder of SPIN, the Senior Planners Industry Network, and now I'm a speaker on buyer behavior and not boring audiences to death.
I know, that's good. I'm Glenn Thayer. I'm the voice of meetings and events. I'm a professional conference moderator and master of ceremonies. And,
You're the voice of meetings and events?
the voice of meetings and
The
events.
I'm just trademark.
An voice. A voice.
You're
of-
a voice.
A voice of meetings and events. He is the voice of
He's
meetings
the
and
voice. Yeah, listen to that voice. That
You're my
smooth
AV
stylings
tech guy.
of Glenn
Yeah.
Thayer.
You're the
Yeah, but I can do a mean voice of God.
You can?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Actually,
Yeah.
you have done that for
Yeah,
me. Yes,
exactly.
you have.
You know what I need to introduce? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Event Icons with Brent Kruger.
That was smooth stylings right there.
Ooh, I got chills.
I know, it's that smooth jazz radio voice that we're here today. So
We're rocking you from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m.
I don't want to be on that show.
Tracy, are you speaking here?
I spoke this morning, 11:30, on food waste, its impact on our industry, and what you can do to stop it.
Well, we started the show with Chance Thompson wearing his
I-
amazing suit,
Isn't it
suit of what do you call it? Suit of recycled banners.
He and Mariella took the banners from Connect Marketplace and
I saw that.
they made her dress and a purse, and he has a tie, a coat, and a suit and
This
pants.
is better than like a meat suit.
Correct.
Oh,
yes.
it's
yes.
great.
better.
It
Yeah,
is
'cause
really
Mariella was
awesome.
she was doing her sustainability
Yeah.
workshop that she had going on over there, and she had her dress, and I was like, wow,
impressive.
that's new.
Yeah.
And you said you're speaking as well?
I spoke Monday morning, and now I'm just reconnecting, making new friends, walking the show floor.
That was
Sorry, I
like
didn't
Smart
mean to
Monday,
interrupt.
right?
Yeah, I was just going
That
to
was
say, I don't
Smart
think we've
Monday.
actually, we had all the IMEX folks on, but we didn't really talk much about Smart Monday.
Yeah.
For anybody who might not have been to the show before, can you just tell us a little bit about what Smart Monday is and how you participated in it?
Smart Monday
I know it's not your gig, but I mean, it's
is every Tuesday of IMEX.
Smart Mondays every Tuesday.
It's the first Monday. It's the Monday
thinking
of
of Dumb
IMEX.
Monday.
That's Dumb Mondays
Monday
on
is
Tuesday.
Tuesday
Right.
morning. Yeah.
And it's great education. It's great keynotes and great sessions to help meeting and event planners and suppliers do their jobs better.
And I'm sorry,
that's-
maybe you already said, what were you speaking on?
I was speaking to a group of suppliers on how to differentiate themselves and stand out, not just in life, but at this show, because buyers have 30 appointments, and how do you stand out? How are you memorable? So
Well, and I mean, I was talking to a planner today who she said it wasn't this show, it was another show. So let's be clear about that. But it was the similar model, right? The hosted buyer model.
Sure.
And easily 50% of the appointments that she had, she knew instantly, I'm not going to be using this person. So what do how do you spend the rest of that time?
Yeah.
I think the answer is painfully, when you've got those appointments. So yeah, I mean, so how do you stand out? What's the answer to that?
Well, I tell them, as a supplier, don't just go into your shtick and pull out your PowerPoint and just start showing them pictures, which everybody does.
Oh, that's a snooze fest.
Right, it's a snooze
Yeah,
fest.
big time.
And you're automatically in transaction mode. It's just to ask questions, ask smart questions, get to know them as a human being, share things, about yourself, and establish a relationship so that when you reach out to them after IMEX, they'll take your call. And so it's just a whole different approach rather than just going straight into pitch mode.
Right.
But wouldn't it be fair to say though too is if you're sitting down with somebody and it's not a fit, right?
Yeah.
And that happens, it may not be a fit for that person, but if you play your cards right and you're actually doing the job you're supposed to do, they might go, you're not a fit for me, but you may be a fit for one of my colleagues who's got another event coming up, and you may be perfect for them.
Yeah.
Because you've shared all that information and didn't pressure me into feeling
Yeah.
weird about
Yeah.
all this. Is like I want to send all this information
Yeah,
to my
you
friend.
like
I think
the
it'd be great.
relationship and you want to help the person.
And you've built a
And there's-
relationship.
There's another speaker that says, I'd rather be referred 5 times than bought once.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And so don't just think, oh, this person's not a customer of mine. Still build
Right.
the relationship, and they might refer you.
I mean, it doesn't sound like they did that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
no, no,
It
no.
sounded like, once it was established, oh, you're not going to use us. They just like sat and
They tune
checked
you
their
out.
email.
Yes, and that's such a waste.
Yeah, that's just terrible all the way
Yeah,
around.
that is terrible.
It's just painful. You're like, all right, I don't check my email.
Okay, me too, I guess.
You want to go get coffee?
I was gonna say in the keynote on Monday, in Smart Monday's keynote, Kelly from Denver, national speaker Kelly McDonald had a great line. Instead of saying, "Can you help me?" as a question, saying, "I need your help." And so, as a meeting planner, you can say, "I need your help in fitting this or doing it that way instead of asking a question, because you can say no to the question, but saying, "I need your help." Somebody's not going to go no.
What are you going to say?
Right, exactly. And I thought it was a brilliant way to pitch your services or ask for help, without doing that. So that was a different perspective
Tracy,
to look at it.
I need your help.
Sure, Shauna. What do you need me to do?
I don't know. I'll think of something.
Okay. I'm here for you all
Are you
the
good
time.
at painting?
Plan a good meeting?
No, painting.
Painting? Yeah, no, I'm not.
I'm
not going to paint.
Actually, I'm not kidding. We just moved, so that's it. Does need to get painted.
Moving is probably the
I moved four
need your
times.
help.
Four times in 4 months.
Seriously.
Why?
Seriously, no kidding.
He keeps getting evicted. He doesn't want to tell you.
It's not. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a bad tenant.
Bad tenant. Get out.
Wow, my goodness.
No, it was easy.
We saw. The most surprising thing that's been revealed on the show today. So,
What?
Yeah,
that I'm a bad tenant.
bad
tenant. No, we sold our house in Denver, and in the meantime, we were waiting, so we were kind of going back and had like rental apartments in different places.
Gotcha.
So we had them in multiple places to kind of make sure we were getting everything handled. And we found a place closer to Boulder, and now it's like we had to move everything from one place, and then 2 weeks later we had to move everything again from a different place. And then, it's been that constant. 3 weeks ago, I think we got the rest of our stuff showed up, and I'm like, I'm on the road, honey. I love you. Bye.
John, tell us a little bit about Spin. And it's been a while
thank you for asking,
It's been a
Grant.
while since you created that.
It's 10 years actually this month.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and we can buy T-shirts.
It feels like
Yes.
yesterday.
Yeah.
I can't remember when that was starting to come together in Minneapolis.
Right?
And
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Crazy. So 10 years ago this month, it started out as just a simple LinkedIn group for planners that were kind of similarly as experienced as I was. Like right then I was probably 10, 15 years. And it's morphed, it's grown. There's now 2,500 members, all with 10 years of experience or more. That's the criteria to join. And the average is 20 years. We have now branches in the U.S., and we've got an annual conference next month. And we just opened the doors to suppliers with 10 years of experience or more, carefully vetted suppliers. And yeah, so it's just a cool, different kind of place with a singular focus. And yeah, we love it.
It's a great group of people to be engaged with, and the Facebook group is very, very active, and you can go on there and ask a question saying, okay, I'm having trouble with this supplier, or I'm having trouble with this client, how do you handle this? And we don't tell client names, or we don't tell property names or whatever, we just ask the questions, and the answers just come flying back in of how do you handle this and what to do. And so it's a great group of men and women who connect and have just completely bonded, and the conferences are a hoot.
And to join, you can join virtually for free. So just to engage with us, and then so just join and be part of the conversation.
So I've started asking this question today. So this is a new one, but I kind of like it. So you guys are at a party, and you're talking to someone who is not from our industry. How do you introduce yourself, Glenn?
I don't go to parties.
Okay.
I don't talk to people.
I talk to every stranger I can meet.
She does. It's crazy. She totally does.
Yeah.
No, I think what do I say? It was somebody when they ask like what I do.
Yeah, what do you do?
I try to go as little as possible, but doesn't
actually, that's a more common answer than you think, to kind of deflect and do a jokey thing, because it's kind of hard to explain sometimes what it is that we do.
Yeah. I mean, I just try to go.
That's why I think it's kind of an interesting question.
Well, it is. It really kind of puts things in perspective. You're like, well, what do they know about it? So I try to. What I try to do is I try to think of it like use Tom Bergeron from Dancing with the Stars. I'm like, if you take Tom Bergeron from Dancing with the Stars and Anderson Cooper and put them together and had that person run a meeting or a conference, that's what I do.
And you kind of look like Anderson Cooper a little bit.
Not Tom Bergeron.
Not Tom Bergeron. No,
but
a little Anderson Cooper with the gray.
I don't know. It needs to be.
He's
more
white,
gray.
but yeah.
Yeah,
he's-
you know.
yeah.
I guess I suppose I can go to see a colorist and
No, don't do that. No. He should aspire to look more like you. That's my.
there we go. He can color his hair. It's easier for him to color his hair than me.
Yeah,
That's-
we'll work on that.
Yeah.
I'll
So I
call him.
I try to learn as much about the person I'm talking to first, so then I can explain it to them in maybe a context. And it depends who I'm talking to as to, you know, I'm either going to tell them about spin, or I'm going to say I'm a global speaker on buyer behavior. So depending, you know, on what kind of context I'm in.
So what if they get to you first though? Hey, so nice to
I
meet
don't
you. What do you
answer.
do?
Yeah.
And you're like, I need to go to the bathroom.
Look at the time.
Oh,
I have to
wow.
find out more about you first.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't
And they're
answer
like-
that question.
They're like, really?
It's too early in our relationship
They're like,
to get to that.
"Oh, excuse me.
And what do you say, Tracy?
I actually start out with where are you from, and I sometimes figure it out. So last time we were doing this was at Connect Marketplace, and you guys were filling out. I had to fill out the form to say, you know, what's the
Okay.
strangest thing about you? And the strangest thing about me is that I talk to strangers. And the reason I got the answer is because I asked the lady next to me to answer the question for me, and I had never met her before. So she's like, you talk to strangers, and I'm like, oh my God, I do. But
everywhere, all
everywhere.
the time.
So I do. I tell them I'm like I'm a professional speaker, but I'm also a meeting planner, and they ask what I speak about, and I say how not to kill or offend people with the food that you serve them. So and that kind of is gets them like what?
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
brilliant elevator
Yeah.
speech.
Thank
there.
you.
That's perfect.
Really
I wouldn't even
is.
call it a speech. Intro. I
No,
guess.
it's
just
Yeah. So people are like, what does that mean? I'm like, do you know somebody with food allergies? Yes, I do. Okay. So how not to kill them? Yeah. So, yeah.
You have saved me at a conference from being killed.
I have. We ran around and got Benadryl.
We
and,
did, yeah.
Because the convention center did not have any.
No, and they served crab
tamales.
Tamales.
Yes.
Who puts crab in a tamale?
And they
doesn't
Somebody who's
label
got
it?
a big budget.
Red,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And
I don't
it
know.
was only one card on the table of 10, and it was on the other side. And
I
so
don't know.
how would you know to not?
You have no idea.
And the font was super small.
As much as we joke about that stuff, I mean, it's very serious.
It is,
People
yeah.
can actually die from it.
I go into anaphylactic.
Yeah,
nut,
there was-
nut
yeah.
allergies, shellfish. I mean,
Yeah.
there's things that it does kill
There are all
people.
kinds of ways to be killed, right?
There are all kinds of ways. I don't
Tracy
really
knows
want to
them
know.
all.
I mean, and every time
what
it comes
was
up, I
food.
have to tell the same story. But I mean, that was part of an event where that happened. There was somebody used some filler that they didn't tell anybody about, and unfortunately, the attendee passed away before they got to the hospital.
Oh my
So it can
gosh.
absolutely happen, and as much as we joke around about it, it's
very serious.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's very serious. You can't mess around with that stuff.
No.
Well, and
So
there's
thank you
been-
for keeping us safe.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. I mean, in the one
Get you a badge.
Sure, a badge. Keep us safe.
I
should
don't
make
kill
a badge.
people? Yeah.
I don't kill people.
Yeah, like a sheriff's badge.
Yeah.
So, Brant, how do you introduce yourself
Yeah.
to people though?
You know, I'll say I work in the meetings and events industry, and then
And they go,
see how that
"There's
goes
an
from
industry for that."
Yeah.
And usually, if you can get someone past like the first 30 seconds or so, they're usually pretty interested.
That's cool.
You know, in what it is. Oh, that must be kind of cool. And,
Yeah.
You know, I talk to strangers too.
Yeah.
In, like bars and stuff like that. And so it's usually what's funny is because of the windows that we get on all of the other industries.
Yeah.
It actually makes
Yeah,
it easier
actually-
to talk to strangers because chances are I did an event that is somehow tangentially related
Yeah.
to what they do.
Yeah,
very
and then
true.
you can have those conversations. And that's a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, they go.
Getting
"Oh,
other
yeah.
people to talk about their
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, where were
That's a good
you?
point.
I was at Cisco Live. Really? So was I.
Yeah.
You're like, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like,
Totally.
I
really.
was at Cisco Live. Were you there?
I was. Were you there?
Yes.
Come on.
I was. I ran the Big Ideas Theater.
Okay.
Really? Come on.
And
So-
you were there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's 26. It's
Yeah.
us and 26,000 of our
Of our
closest friends.
Still, I mean,
No,
you
we were
guys
doing
just lived
the
your own
trivia
example.
on the pavilions. They had like the 3 Cisco pavilions.
Oh,
They
sweet,
had, like,
okay.
social trivia wall. Kind
Yeah.
Of thing.
Oh, very, very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, it was like
Oh my
upstairs in one of the other theaters somewhere, tucked away with.
That's hysterical.
There was a dude whose like whole mission in life was winning those games.
Oh,
Like to
Really?
the point where like we had to be like, okay, man, you gotta.
You
We'll
gotta
give
go
you the
live.
big prize.
Go live. Go fly
Well, he
away.
won the first day, and like he wanted to win like all of them the second day, and like was working. He had like they had a system where like a buddy would watch him play. It was crazy. It's like, man, you were way too serious about this little tchotchke. Well, it wasn't a tchotchke. It was a nice set of headphones, but still, it's like,
Still.
go buy a set
Yeah,
of
that's a
headphones.
little
lot.
much.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's over.
Are we getting ready to do a
Overabove.
rotate?
Are we going to rotate
Okay.
out? Okay,
All right.
awesome.
Who's
Tahira, did
rotating
you
in
get
and
our
who's rotating
photo?
out?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
To hear and Kate.
Okay.
Appreciate it, Brand.
I'm
Thank
gonna.
you.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks.
Come in. Come on.
Wait a
Thanks,
minute.
guys.
Hello.
Are we all leaving?
I don't know.
We're getting kicked out, I think is what it is.
What? Stick
around. Okay, we'll have to get
Well, we're broadcasting to Heroes Behind.
Great. That's
Yep.
exactly. I always like
Yep.
to have my behind on camera.
Yes,
That's my
I know.
favorite, as you know. Well, hello, Kate Pate. So Kate Pate and I have known each other online for a million years, and we just met for the first time live, like about 10 seconds ago.
I know
so,
that should have been on film.
right? It'd be like we hugged. It was good because
Can we reenact it?
Really?
I mean,
Yes.
it's.
Oh, look at that.
We're very sweet like that.
Okay.
Yes, we
At least
are.
on camera.
That's
So
right.
tell us. So I haven't met you. Who are you, and what do you do?
Well, Kate Pate with Pate Consulting, and I am a brand and image consultant.
She's basically super famous, and you've just missed out, Brand.
You know what? It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be the first time.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
Here's
it's
your
okay.
$50.
I was at a pretty schwanky gathering last night, and it was like, oh yeah, she's famous. She's famous. She's famous. I was like, I had no idea who any of them were. It was,
You know.
Famous in my own head.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
not real.
No, it's all good. Okay, so we've decided that we're actually just going to talk about travel now.
Okay.
So we've, that we're at a destination show. There's every destination in the world is here, but we're just going to talk about the places we've been.
Exactly.
So it's going to be good. So
you
you just went to Italy.
I was gonna say, yeah, you were on the road, weren't you?
I got here at 10 o'clock last night because I had to present this morning.
Now, did you have like? How long were you traveling?
We were there almost 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then
Oh, yeah.
here for 3 days. I'll go home for 12 hours to change suitcases and zipping off to Miami and then Austin and then back to Vegas.
Wow.
Oh, fun.
Yes.
It's good. At least you're staying with nice weather.
I'm trying.
It's good. I know. I was telling you, 32 days on the road, 2 conferences, 1 carry-on.
That's like
5 pairs of shoes.
Oh my goodness, all hell.
Right?
Like 5 pairs of shoes in the one carry-on.
Yes.
What else was in the carry-on? Like toothpaste.
Wow.
Well,
How big was the how big was the carry-on? That's
No,
that's
it's standard.
or was it pushing the envelope?
Standard carry-on size.
Yeah,
Maximum.
but what is standard for which airline?
22 by 9 by 15, I think. 22 by 9 by 15, something like that.
I think it's 23.
Yeah. You
I
know.
just bought another suitcase.
Yeah, so whatever that is. So yeah, so one of my girlfriends was going traveling and she said, "How did you do that?" I said, "Carefully." She said, "That is not enough information." So then I sent her my full packing list and she's like, "Wow." Yeah. I had lots of options. I also had opportunities to do laundry along the way. So
that definitely helps.
But I had fitness gear, bathing suits, dresses, work
Did you have
clothes.
formal gear?
Yes.
Did you have formal clothes? See, that's the hardest part.
It's
Is
the
to get.
hardest
It's like, how
part.
do you pack formal clothes?
It's
when you
harder when you have a man suit.
see? Is that what it is?
Girls' formal clothes can be smaller.
Ours are a little tinier.
Yeah.
See, that's the issue I have. Is like I got to bring a tux somewhere, and I feel like I'm screwed. I'm
That's
like, okay, I got to have a tux, and I'm like,
It is.
I'm like, how am I going to bring my suit? I've got to bring my suit, my tux, and then I have to have things to travel in because I'm typically not going to travel in my suit because I'm thinking, I don't mind.
Could you please travel in your tux? That would totally make
That
That would be
actually
pretty awesome.
would be good.
Yeah.
Travel, you show up in your
Strolling on.
tux, and they go, "You make my way back to
yeah.
coach."
We talk about style
like
and
row
image. Can you imagine?
49.
Like,
I know.
That would be an automatic
I got
upgrade.
middle by the
It should
bathroom.
be.
That's me.
Yes. So Brent, when's the last time you packed a tux to go on the road?
I've never packed a tux to go on the road.
Or not yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, good. So we have time.
Raises a good question though. So I mean, with as much as honestly, you guys especially, but as much as we all kind of travel in the industry, what's kind of your favorite, most recent travel hack? Like that thing that you're doing on the road that like, oh, that's working, or maybe it's just don't bring so much stuff and bring 5 pairs of shoes.
You know, I have to say that, yeah, I'm actually, now that I have streamlined down to a carry-on, I don't think I can go back, actually.
It is hard. It's hard
I
too.
have never done IMEX with just a carry-on, let alone 32 days or 28 days leading up to IMEX.
That
with just
is a
carry-on.
crazy amount. And I feel like I'm
Yes.
good with the carry-on and I
Yeah.
can do quite a bit, but this one, it was just too much. Too many stops, too many.
It's difficult, right? So, I mean, I went to Amsterdam, then Cologne, and then Berlin, and then I went to a castle in Poland for a week, and then I went to London for the weekend, and then New York for 10 days, and then here in a carry-on.
That is just.
You ever wash those clothes?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have a home or do you just live in
I
this
have
suitcase?
A home. I have a home. They miss me.
Oh, I would think so after this much time.
Yeah, they're like, "When are you coming home?" I'm like, "Tomorrow." It's like, oh, thank God.
That's so sweet.
Someone's got to fold all the clothes.
See, I realized the most important thing that I bring, I don't know if I'd call it a hack, but maybe it is a hack. I bring my slippers with me, because I bring my slippers because as soon as I go back to my room, we almost all of us have to work. You know, we get back to our room and people think, oh, you're going to go back to, go back to your room and go to sleep. It's like, no, actually we have stuff we have to
answer
manage.
emails.
We got to, we got contracts we got to do. There's stuff we're doing. And there's nothing better than kicking off your shoe. Yeah, you're like, whoa, that's mine. Let me pick that back up.
That's quite the trick, right?
But it's great because if you take your shoes off, your feet get cold if you're sitting too long. I'm like, I put my slippers on, and I'm like, got my slippers on. I was like, I feel like I'm at home.
So you don't know where that carpet's been.
You don't. That's true. That's one is my slippers. Yeah. The second thing that has saved my butt is Clear at the airport.
Oh, I love Clear access.
And doing Clear, it's like, yeah. See, Will's totally into it too. He's like, yeah.
Cheering over
You get it. I mean, here's the thing: is Clear doesn't make any sense until you stand in the TSA pre-line and you're going like, this is ridiculous. This is dumb. I'm in here for a half hour trying to get through it.
Clear saved my butt here last year. The day after the shooting that was here, I had to fly out the next morning. And so the airport was almost on lockdown. And Clear access, it took me about 10 minutes to get through and past all the dogs versus the hour and a half that was TSA and 3 hours for standard check-in.
That's the way TSA used to be. Because that saved my bacon on a similar
but
situation.
now everyone's got TSA, I feel like.
Yeah, so if I go and get Clear, what am I going to have to get a year from after that? Because then now the Clear line's going to get all long, and I'll have to get the next thing.
I still haven't had a line with Clear.
I had that happen at DIA at Denver. I was flying out, and I went through Clear just because that's just what it is. I roll up in there, and there's a line. I was like, there's 10 people in front of me. I'm like, what gives? And I look over at the pre-line, and people are just walking right through. I was like, I'm in the wrong line. I was like, I can go through here. I was like,
but at least you have options, so that's good.
I have options. I was like, but that happened once. But literally though, Clear is I can show up to the airport and I can lower my window and not have to worry. And even when I was coming out here, same thing. I looked at it. They were saying security was running an hour, and I looked at TSA pre. The line went all the way out, all the way back. It wasn't just the normal pre-line. I mean, it queued far away, and I rolled right up. I was just like, bink, put my fingers on it, and walked right through.
What's your travel hack, Kate?
Oh, gosh, I'm kind of with him on the Clear one. Yeah. I stay with the same airlines consistently in the same hotels, so I'm just upgrade, which makes life so much easier. I have it in my contracts for traveling, which hotel chains I'll stay with, that I'm booking my own flights and get reimbursed. It makes life easier.
How do you handle that when the event happens to be at a different host hotel? Do you just schlep, or do you?
It depends on the city and which event it is. Yeah, I'm pretty loyal to my brands. I know we should always book on block, and I know that's the proper thing to do. And if I can, I absolutely will. But if I've got across the street somewhere that I've got status and I know I'll get a lovely suite, then I'm probably going to go across the street just to keep that, because coming in late or at weird times or guaranteed early check-ins, I can show up somewhere at 6 a.m. on a weird red eye and they'll let me into my hotel room. So stay very loyal to my brands.
Status helps.
Status helps.
That's a good thing. You also, Casey, we both have a lot of hair, so this is a bit of a travel issue because we need extra time.
I just cut 6 inches off of this too.
Oh.
I know, I needed less hair. It was too much.
Right? Too much hair. So that is a travel thing, though, because we need to deal with that. It just takes a little more time. A little more
Totally
effort.
agree.
I know. So we can't do the brand.
Yeah, well, no, you just have more time shaving.
It does actually take quite a bit of time.
How do you manage that? Because that's like the back of the head. How do you get the
mirror.
back? Are you getting expert at doing things in reverse?
A little bit, yeah.
Brand's amazing.
Well, that has nothing to do with travel hacks.
Yeah, does anybody do like pillows, blankets, meditation apps?
I do bring a pillow. I bring a pillow.
You're that person.
No,
you're on the plane with a pillow in your pajamas, aren't you? Admit it.
No, I bring a pillow that goes on. There's a skull pillow that it's more of like a Day of the Dead pillow that is on the bed that we have, and I bring it with me. So I feel like I have something with, it's like, oh, this is from my bed, and I just kind of have that, and I can go, oh, I can think
like
of my wife. I was like,
little.
oh, I feel home, and oh, this is normally on our bed, and then I bring it back, and
I did that for a short time. I was bringing a specific candle. There's a scent that's always in my house. So I was bringing one with me, but then going to carry on, like you spoke about, was like, to hell with the candle. Bye. I need space for something way more important.
Well, this is carrying on. Mine is super small. It's just a suitor. Like I've got something really, really small. So there's no pillow this time. Same thing. It's like, well, if I bring the big one, that's the problem is like we have gear. Like if we travel and there's gear, like that's, I bring the catch box a lot.
Right.
And if I'm bringing a catch box, I'll bring the catch box with me. I have a little mini keyboard to play music on and everything. I bring that with me. I throw that in because I usually bring like the big suitcase. Because if I'm going to check luggage, I'm going all out as well. I'm going to bring everything. I'll put my yoga mat in there. And
like go versus the volcano with the giant 3 trunks.
Exactly. The T-Rex costume that I can terrorize people down the
My
hallway.
favorite is if I'm going somewhere with my husband and then we can like share the big suitcase and he carries it.
Yes.
Right? That's the thing. That's why I kind of
that's why I like.
So I was like, I didn't want to carry 2 things around.
He carried my laptop here for me this morning before he flew out. He walked all the way over here and then off he goes.
Yeah.
And at least a dozen people texted me and said, I just saw John Pate. And I've never met him. I've only ever seen his photos on social media, but I just saw your husband walk by. And so people were like half waving at him this morning. And he was like, that was so weird.
I don't know these people. Why are they white? They're like, you're famous. Brant doesn't know you.
So therefore, it must be
So
famous.
Brad, maybe your experiment can just be randomly waving at people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Makes it fun.
So we have been on the air for 2.5 hours.
Is that long?
Yeah. So I think we're starting to get the wrap-up signals.
I feel like when Will is twirling around, that is a good, definite wrap-up signal. Yes.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having
Thank you for having us.
Close the show. Are you guys going to join us back in? All right. Excellent.
You're my favorite.
All right. Good.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
And then we'll wrap things up live from
IMEX 2018. Thanks for playing with us.
Get the guys in here. So thank you all for joining us here live, IMEX 2018. If you've never been to this show, I hope this gave you a window into what this show is all about. And we're going to be trying to do some more. Have you guys done some interviews and stuff already with the recordings?
Yes, we're doing EventIcons Extended.
I couldn't remember the brand.
that you guys voted on. Yeah, I don't think we talked about it last time, but yeah, we now are doing exclusive content for the Facebook group, and we launched our first episode with Chad Collins, and that's on the Facebook group. And then the next one that is publishing is actually the person who is sitting literally right here 2 seconds ago, Glenn Thayer. So Glenn will be doing an exclusive interview with Tahira live from ILEA Live that we recorded. We don't even remember. It's like 5 weeks ago. But they had an awesome conversation about engagement. So that will be publishing on the Facebook group. So
amazing.
I think the Facebook group is where it's at
that was
now.
Before you were in a castle in Poland, and
so long.
That was former. That was old Tahira.
After you were in Bali, but no,
in past Tahira, but yeah.
Somewhere in there.
So yeah, EventIcons is doing well. The extended side of things is it's super awesome. We got tons more content coming out. Also repurposing all of these episodes now across social media and pulling out quotes, and there's a lot of crazy stuff happening on the content side. So, but my question to you guys. So we were here for 2.5 hours.
Yep.
I think we had like dozens of people on. Yep. At one point, I was like, "We're going too fast. There's too many people on." And then I was like, "Okay, we need to speed things up. There's so much to go through." What was your guys' favorite thing? Biggest takeaway? Maybe person, and then maybe biggest takeaway that you've gotten while you've been on.
I have to say my favorite person.
Okay, not favorite person. What's your biggest takeaway? All of them. All of the above.
No, I think the biggest takeaway is just realizing. For anyone who's not here at IMEX, who maybe has been before and isn't back this year, I think realizing really what the growth is and all the new changes and things that are happening, it really is the place to be, especially with all the people you can network. I mean, you just saw all these amazing people here from all different walks of life. There is no, one type of person who's here. We've got people from all different sectors of the industry.
Who are actually famous.
People who are actually famous. But I think realizing, the power of being here face-to-face at IMEX is really special.
I was going to agree with that too. So obviously this is my 3rd or 4th year being here. I think we were walking around the first day when I got here and I said, this just feels like there's so much more space for sitting down. There's a bigger food area. And I was like, man, like their booths at 10 months ago. No, it's definitely going up. And turns out they bought a whole nother hall. And I didn't even realize it because it's just continually getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, people were kind of like, oh, they must have lost space because the food's upstairs this year. Like, no,
it's like, no, they added
hall.
space. And Zen pods.
No up and down. It's all good.
Right.
So,
and it is nice having that white space, and
yeah, totally. Which has been great because I've popped away for emails a couple times or needed a call or something like that. And where before is you were sitting on the floor next to a booth, now you can actually relax. And I think it's showing the greater trend too for even such a large trade show as this for it to go that way. So yeah, that was one of my favorite parts as well.
Are there any AV people in the house? Because somebody's booth needs it.
Yeah, someone definitely needs it. And I think my favorite learning has just been how much I love doing the live show at IMEX.
Yeah.
This was so amazingly exciting to watch people just walk up that we have had on the show and they're like, hey, I just came to swing by. And we're like, cool, let's bring you on. Like, no, that's the thing I don't think anyone knows. Did we talk about that? About how none of these people had schedules. We didn't have a schedule to come by. These people just came by. We pulled them in. No topics. This was 100% live, which I think is just exciting.
Yeah.
I'm talking too much. Tiara, what is your favorite favorite thing?
Crazy.
I know.
Honestly, I like everything about IMEX, so I can't even possibly choose. So probably I think that anybody who is working in tourism, hospitality, events, who hasn't been to IMEX needs to see it. They need to understand how small and insignificant each one of us is individually, but how powerful we are collectively, and how there's so much competition and so much collaboration, and it's endlessly fascinating to me how we have that. And what I mostly like about IMEX is that it really comes with a sense of joie de vivre that most shows don't have. So even if you are walking a lot and talking a lot, you're basically going to be like hugging your way through a show, and that's just a blast.
Yeah, I always tell people that, I meet more and more people every year in this industry, and 80% of them are always here. So that number just continues to grow and continues to grow. So I think that's a great place to wrap it up. So I'm going to do my best to, again, remember the script.
You can do it. All right, everyone, give Brant some noise as he tries to remember the script live again. If you watch Connect Marketplace, that's the greatest one ever when he tried to.
This show is recorded 5 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. So you can join us live at event-icons.com. You can also have it automatically downloaded into your earballs from your favorite podcaster apps, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Apple iTunes, Google Play, all of the various podcast apps that are out there. If there is a platform that you want us to be on, let us know, and we'll be sure and get there. Otherwise, the best way to join us is at event-icons.com, where you can join in the chat and you can send us those questions. We had so many great people that were just like, great show, so many people, amazing. So it was really fun to keep an eye on the chat over the course of today. So join us each week there at event-icons.com. You see behind the scenes on Facebook Live, but again, the best way to do it is event-icons.com. And thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this. Thank you for letting me be a part of this show, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you all out there. We'll see you next time on Event Icons.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing episode of #EventIcons. To catch the transcription and all of the resources mentioned, head to www.helloendless.com/blog. This week's episode will be posted and available by next Tuesday. Also, let us know what you thought about this week's episode. Share your biggest takeaway and join the social conversation. Sponsored by Little Bird Told Media. Just tag your post with #EventIcons. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on #EventIcons.